There you go.
Hey, welcome to the Bob and Tam Show today. We did a little remodel in here. Somebody got a new chair. I didn't get a new chair yet. Mine's somewhere between here and Nana Land. And I have no idea.
Ordered them together, and one came and one didn't.
All right. So let us know how it sounds. If you guys can hear us, we're trying to use the microphones here to see how that all works out. Sounds like it does work. I can hear it on there. There's 12 already on.
There you go.
So we're already starting to get a roll here. Let me...
I'll start with Palmoto because Jeff, Janice, and Neil have been yakking for about a half hour or so. So Palmoto's on. Mike's on. Hi, Mike. How you doing? How is Minnesota? I guess it's close enough. I guess next Sunday. I don't know. Anniversary from Michael and Brenda Adams.
I don't know. We're going to stick it on a video. You're going to have to put it on a thing on the day or so before. Make sure you put it on. I already got the videos done for Monday and Tuesday. I already got those videos up and ready to go. You can kind of check out the thumbnails on those. They're all ready. And so we had that little live on Thursday. Just didn't have anything else to put out. We just decided to go ahead and do a Thursday. And so don't have a whole lot to talk about tonight. We're actually getting ready because tomorrow we're heading over to California. We're going to go visit our daughter in Huntington Beach. So we're going to be there for about a week. Come back here on Monday. So I'm not sure if we're going to do a live next weekend or not because it's Labor Day weekend. I don't know how many people are planning things to do. Thought if maybe we did one, maybe we would do Monday night because everybody would be off work. Maybe you're recuperating from the wild weekend you had if you're doing one of those partiers out there that do that. We're getting ready to start our series on Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. So we don't have a lot of info for Ocean City. There, we actually have a subscriber that helps us get over there and get all set up for that. So more or less that I don't have a lot of, I know they got some concerts and stuff going on that you got to pay to get into. You know, we're not doing any of that. So Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue seems to be, that's going to be our main video. We're going to try to get one up this week. We're trying to get a hold of a couple people over there this week that are actually our sponsors for there. Pig Trail Harley and also the Cat House. They had a weekend this weekend. They had a whole bunch of stuff going on. There was a thing out at the farm campground. That's where Camp Easy Ride was at. They had a big old thing going on with music and all kinds of stuff. And then also the Volkswagen had their meetup this weekend in Eureka Springs. So things are getting really busy. I see a lot of the hotels are pretty well booked. A lot of people are coming in just for the weekend. Friday and Saturday nights looks like that's where a lot of hotels are sold out. This all starts on Wednesday.
That's what you keep saying. I think Wednesday.
Yeah, so Wednesday on. So we're going to get there about Monday-ish, not really be there till Tuesday to start giving you coverage of live stuff going on during the event. But I mean, this is a really cool rally. I really like Eureka Springs. And then also over in Rogers, used to be over there in Fayetteville. That's kind of fizzled all out. And they really don't want bikers there anymore. That's really what happened to the whole situation. They'd rather have a college town and screw the bikers. And so Rogers went over there and picked it up. And last year, that was the first year last year, wasn't it? Yeah. And they had a few issues last year. This year, they've already got the streets all blocked off that they're going to have downtown. They're going to have concerts and stuff.
I think this is the second. Last year was the second year.
It was the second year.
Yeah.
So this will be the third year. And things are you know, give them a little bit of time to get this going. You know, and Pig Trail Harley's got a lot of vendors there. He's got more vendors. We're going to find out next week. We're going to get with him and find out exactly the count of vendors he's got. Maybe we'll get a list. We'll be able to post it on Facebook and on YouTube here. So you guys can check that out if you're thinking about coming to that. I mean, I always look at Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue, even though it's not a full week. It's a good rally. What makes it really great is, especially if you stay up around Eureka Springs or like that, you're in the Ozarks. And if you don't know anything about the Ozarks, it's a lot of hills and curves. And it's kind of like the Black Hills, but not as dramatic. What?
I'm just saying hi to people. So Glenn is on, and he finally got his new truck. She got a Jeep, and he finally got a truck. He's been wanting a truck for a long time. And D1 says, get ready to pay $6 a gallon for gas in California.
Well, we're taking the little Ranger over there, so hopefully it'll get good gas mileage, and we'll fill up before we leave. It's got about a 20-gallon tank on it, so I'm figuring somewhere, I'm hoping around 25 miles to the gallon. So depending on how much running we do when we get over there,
Thanks, Dinebreed.
like I said, we don't really have a whole lot to plan to give you guys, but yeah, I already know it's going to be more expensive over there than what it is here. Our gas here, I just got gas actually at Walmart, first time ever. It was $2.88 for just regular unleaded.
It's been the cheapest in town, and that's never been.
Yeah, they've always been
since they've
higher.
opened. He thinks they got a new manager, and he's ready to cut costs.
I'll try to get people in. We got a new Walmart, which
Nicholas.
is we have 2 Walmarts in town, and so they built another new one down the street from us, and it's a smaller Walmart, it's not as big, but they put a gas station out front, and it's like, they really don't have any overhead because Walmart owns the property. Walmart built the building, so other than paying his staff and light bill and whatever, maybe even the lights are all going through the main store, to where, hey, I would discount it to try to get people come in and spend a little money at that convenience store.
Yep.
And you never know, we get gas, they might decide, oh, while we're here, let's just go over and run into Walmart and get something.
So Tony's on Facebook and YouTube. How
There you
about
go.
that? Sucks leaving Sturgis, but glad made it back to Jersey. I'm glad you guys made it back safe and sound.
Yeah, this year there was a lot of wrecks. I think we're going to end up having one more person probably going to pass away. I just seen a post yesterday on the young lady that she's not doing very good. And they were asking everybody to pray for her. I didn't pull the name up, but it's probably going to be another one that's probably going to go before. I think they had a wreck out on the 79, her and her husband. And I don't know if he made it or not. I only see videos for her. I think her name is Julie.
I think they were separate.
Oh, separate bikes.
Yes. And I don't know if he saw it or she was behind him. I don't know. I think I read that too. But yeah, I think she was on a different bike. So I think she was riding her own bike. And it said that might have been the bike we saw flipped over. Remember when we went? Because they said they don't know how she just lost control and ended up down in the ditch.
The part that I read, the article that they had in the newspaper or whatever they posted, they said she swerved off the road. So I didn't know. Like I said, I don't know. It's sad that anything happens to people during the rally and stuff like this. This year, it kind of hit home for us. We had a couple of our subscribers that got pretty beat up. At least now that looks like they're going to recover. Might have some aches and pains for a while, and maybe
probably a long time.
And so hopefully we'll be in touch with them soon. We just didn't want to bother them and call them, or there's enough people kind of contacting them and talking to them and stuff. I talked to them a little bit on Facebook. I sent some messages and stuff to them, and so because I know it's just like when somebody dies, everybody comes up to you and tells you how sorry they are. Well, that actually makes it worse for the person that lost the person, because everybody knows you're sorry. And so it's one of them things that sometimes you just, too many people can make it even actually worse. So we're going to lay back, and they know how to contact us if they need something or want something. They had a Facebook, it wasn't a GoFundMe page. It was a Support Bikers group, which is part of the Badgers. They have a group, and it was legit. A lot of people were asking if, when it came up, was that something that was legit? And it's like, yes, we know the Badgers, their group that they're doing where they're actually sending money to people to get hurt and stuff is all nonprofit. They're not taking any money out. They make their money off of their YouTube and their Facebook page. They have insurance. Well, I'm not going to get into how they make their money, but it's so they're giving this money away just to those people. And they started it about a year ago. It took them about a year. I think it took them about 2 years to get it all set up, the non-for-profit and all that stuff. And one of the things we're trying to do with our veteran bikes.
Yeah, I know. Maybe next week when we're in California. XM Bikers on. Big Whoopie's on. Palmoto says, one biker family to another will be praying for all those who are fallen and our lost riders.
Yeah. And somebody just died, I think, after they got home from Sturgis. I think 2 days after Sturgis, an older gentleman passed away. And he just wanted to make one more trip to Sturgis. What better way to end your life than that one last trip?
Yep.
So we'll move on from that. We're not going to talk anymore about the woking and all this kind of stuff. I've gotten a whole lot of different comments, and I was thinking about maybe bringing some of them up and talking about them. But I mean, I'm not, everybody kind of knows what's going on. It is what it is. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. the whole world is kind of screwed up at this point, and it doesn't matter. It's just not them. It's thousands of companies all around the United States, around the world, that are all in the same little basket. And if you stopped buying from these people, you probably wouldn't do anything, because almost everybody's tied somewhere into it. It may not be your local store down the street, but probably who they buy their supplies from may be doing it. So once again, it's the association of that, to where, you know, it is what it is. I'm like I say, if you watch the video, we're not big fans of the CEO, but once we tried to explain to everybody, the CEO really doesn't have a whole lot of pull in the company. He does, but he doesn't. That they actually have people, management, executives that actually are running the company on a day-to-day basis. And he may tell them what his goals are, that he wants to be green and all this stuff. And there's a lot of people, there's nothing wrong with that. If there's people, there's a lot of people in this world that believe that they believe in the greenhouse theory, and they think we should stop using any fossil fuels and all that. And that's their right, because this is America. Then you have people on the other side that says, no, let's just burn coal and all that, and it's got nothing to do with the ozone or the atmosphere or anything else. So everybody's entitled, which is what about America? Everybody's entitled to their opinions. And I still look through all this stuff, and I don't really see these companies hiring transgenders and gay people and different things like that. I don't really see that they're doing a large hiring. What I've seen with this is to stop people from harassing them at the workplace and not treating them equal and all that. I think that's what it was all about. That's as far as we're going to get today, because we're not going to go into this. At this point, I'm going to let it go. There's so much of this coming out. And my recommendation is, whatever you decide in your heart that you want, if you don't ever want to buy another Harley Davidson again because you think they've gone this way, then that's your choice. That's America. If I want to buy a brand new Harley Davidson, that's my business. Doesn't really matter that they're sending stuff over to Thailand, you know, and is it? Sometimes it's business. I understand Harley came out, but I mean, Harley, what the heck were those 550s and stuff that they sold? Were they really made in America? I thought those were all Chinese and Japanese bikes that they were selling. Those 550s and 650s that they had, I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago. They didn't look like Harleys. So, but I don't know. We don't look at those models, so I don't keep up with all that. What?
Your thumbs up button's on that side. So Glenn said, did you take your new truck, Glenn, over to Buc-ee's? They went to the Buc-ee's in Springfield, Missouri. They said it was overwhelming.
There you go. It's a big
one.
So
you know what was it? Was that Wally's? Was that in Springfield, or was that in St. Louis?
St. Louis.
Oh,
right by the old Chrysler plant.
Because we saw that and we thought they were kind of trying to compete with Buc-ee's. So I just wondered how close they were to each other.
No, because there's not a Buc-ee's in
Neil
St. Louis.
says, hit that thumbs up button. Yo, Bob, my beard is still getting bigger. That was Eddie Diesel. So I don't remember. Did we see you, Eddie? Karen's on. So there we go. We're all caught up again.
All right. So, like I say, the bikes being shipped overseas, like I say, sometimes it's a business decision. You know, the Harley's main objective, probably for the last 20 plus years, has been baggers. And now we're seeing the trikes. You know, that seems to be the things that, you know, we expect. Cool. That's what we're going to buy. Pan America, same thing. If they take them to Taiwan and they bring them down to a decent price, I might buy a Pan American. I liked it, but not for $24,000. I didn't like that bike that well. It was out of its budget. And Tori said, you look at this stuff and it's what we're being told, which we will have to wait and see, is we're going to see some lower price bikes coming from this, like the Sportster S and the Nightstar. And those are going to come down in price. That's what we're hearing. But it could go the other way. It could be that the CEO and the board and the stockholders end up making more profit off of it with cheaper labor, cheaper parts, cheaper everything. So who knows? And you never know who might get in office. Maybe some guy will get in office and he'll raise all the tariffs up that Harley Davidson has to come back here and build them, because it'll cost them twice as much to ship them back in here like they do shipping them over to other countries, which is the thing I say we should have done all these years anyway. We shouldn't have all this crap that we sell in America, Chinese, and all this stuff that comes from all these foreign countries. You know, when I was a kid, you pretty much everything was made in America. We made TVs here. We made everything. was pretty much made in the United States. Maybe a few parts might have came from over there, but that's all gone.
Anthony says he doesn't drink Bud Light, but he's not giving up his Harley.
There you go.
So Karen said she won a guitar from Wade Jennings. So did you get to meet him? And did he sign it?
No, it's supposed to be coming up. I thought it was a headband you said. I thought you said you won. I couldn't figure out what. I watched the video you sent me. I couldn't really figure out exactly. I didn't know it was you because I didn't know the hashtag that he had, Karen and whatever it was. I didn't know that was your email. And so I wasn't sure it was yours. And then when I seen your Facebook post, then I seen it was you and I said, congratulations. So yeah, it's pretty neat. And I think she gets to go to one of the concerts coming up in the next few months or something. It said that she'd be get the meeting and get whatever. I guess if she's getting a guitar, that'd be kind of cool.
So John Burke says 2025 will be his first Sturgis, and he wants to know if you'll be his tour guide. Watch the videos, and you'll get to see all the places to go.
We'll be there just about as early as we were this year. We're not going to go. I was wanting to kind of go earlier, but I think we're not. We're going to pretty much go the same time we went this year. We'll be there. When we get there, June
10th is when we got there.
So June 10th.
Nicole's on. Hey, Nicole. She said we finally made it home. We did.
There you go.
And I hope you guys are doing fine. We already sent our prayers out to all you guys and everything. So hope you and Andrew are both doing well. Paul says, love listening to you all. Sold their soul to greed. Yep. A lot of places will do that. They say movie stars and musicians and all that do that. Cheap labor overseas. I was made in the USA. So was I. Palmodo. I told him if he wanted to sell it, I'd buy it. Neil says somebody from Wisconsin, one of his friends, bought a Fat Boy with a sidecar for $3,000.
Good deal.
Nice. That's what I said.
Yeah. That's what I keep telling you.
In October.
We've got the veteran builds we want to start doing. And if you're some of those people that's got a woke bike, that's I guess most of them are saying 2017 or newer because that's when the CEO came to Harley. We'd be glad to come get them or have them shipped over here to where you can donate it. You can sign off on it and we'll give it to a veteran and to try to make his life better or her life better. Yeah. So that's something we're going to be doing. And if you want to get rid of your woke bike, give it to a vet. Yeah. What better way to switch it around? Yep. Somebody that fought for America. Yep. Somebody that fought for the U.S. And give them that woke bike to make them feel better and help with some of their depression and some of all the other things, PTSD. Got that right this time. PTSD. And we'll be more than happy to set that up and get it to you. We don't have the 501c yet. We're still working on that. We can't give you a write-off yet. But maybe once we get the 501c, we can run a bunch of them through and say that they were a write-off and give you a retail value on what it would normally be worth. Tax deduction. So get something out of it from Harley Davidson. You get a tax deduction. So
big whoop said, what an awesome idea.
Yeah. So that's a way to do it. And I should do some shorts on that and tell people to contact us.
Well, we wanted to get some veterans to.
Yeah.
And I wrote up a little thing, and what I wanted to do, you know how you watch those TV commercials and they're all kind of, so I want them all to say the same thing. I've got a little script for them all to read. And then we can say, this guy say the first few words, this guy say the second, and kind of go back and forth with 3 or 4 different guys. And I thought that would be kind of neat to ask anybody if they were a vet or if they knew somebody that was a vet, or if you're not a vet and want to help a vet, and if you have a bike you don't ride anymore.
And then we're going to go through the Veterans Administration and the VFW, and that's how we're going to find the people. We're not picking anybody. We're not doing a raffle. We're not doing anything. We're not trying to raise, because I want to get it to where we're not making any money on this. The idea, what we get out of this is, one, we get the great time of giving out this information, giving these bikes away, but we're going to have content. We're going to show me working on the bikes, whatever I need to do. If there's things I got to send out, you'll see that. You'll see how we get the bikes, where we come from. You'll see the people that get the bikes. Hopefully our goal is we'd like to follow up like once every 6 months, depending on where they're at. We're going to start giving them away closer here. We're going to stay within about 3 states, so it doesn't cost us a fortune to ship them out. Then maybe once we get the 501c, we can get people that want to donate money that will help transport the bikes. You know, we could have a transporter or whatever, ship the bikes to these people and have them delivered, and then we can fly in or whatever. So that's the goal.
Anthony says, how much is Sturgis booking up for the 85th? Any updates?
It's getting busy. We're hearing from most of the campgrounds now. Right now, the Buffalo Chip has not done anything yet. They're looking around sometime around 1st of September. Not saying it's going to be the 1st, but sometime in September, they'll be ready to go. What they always have to do is they're probably one of the biggest ones that have this big giant computer system that they're actually you go to an outside company now to get your tickets and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know why, but that's what they went with that, I don't know, 3 years ago or something. And so they've got to make sure that's all set up, everything's in dates, and everything else is ready to go. So other than that, I know Pappy Hoyle, Glencoe, Kathmandu, Days Inn, all of them are booking at this time. Hotels are iffy. Some of the hotels are telling us they're already full, but that's just us going on online looking at it. And that's why I always say, if you do book something online, I even say a campground. You know, it's always best to, once you book something, just to give them a quick call back and say, hey, I just want to check with you guys and double check that my reservation's in there. This is what I've got. This is what, just reading through it all. And that way you get peace of mind, that way you don't, and same thing, 6 months, I'd call again. And 3 weeks, 4 weeks before the rally, I'd call again just to make sure. Nothing worse than we've gone to rallies where people have got Airbnbs and they show up the day and it's not available. Either they've rented it to somebody else. The house isn't even a rental. It was never a rental. Somebody else had just took your money. There's a lot of scams going on. Most of the campgrounds, I would say, are not going to be a scam, but you never know.
Oh, Steve says he loves the Pan America too, but also not for $24,000. So he bought a Buell Ulysses instead for $4,000. Big Whoop says we're going to need a bigger boat once those guys get anyhow. So they're from over there in Hawaii. So they're saying hi to everybody. Red King's on. Contact your local Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association, or I could help you with that. Or contact, just let me know. All right. Do I have your information? CVMA Flash.
You can email us.
Yep. There's our email.
You can put an email to us and give us all your contact information. Remind us who you are, that you want to help us maybe get where you get to some of the vets to talk and stuff to kind of get this going. And so it's something I wanted to do. I kind of got inspired by doing this from Adam Sandoval. I kind of liked him. I watched him for years before. I kind of quit for a while, went back. We actually went there and helped break the world record. Went the year after that. We didn't get to see him this year in Sturgis. Usually every year I get to see him. Yeah. This year we didn't see a lot of people. We didn't even see the monkey, I don't think. Did we end up seeing him?
Yeah, I think. He was at Iron Horse there for a minute.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He had his chopper in the show. And so, yeah, it was really, this year for us was just a weird year. Things just didn't, once the rally started, things just did not run very smooth. And I don't know why. But we want to
go. Wheels Through Time. And believe it or not, it used to be right in our backyard when we lived in Illinois. I never went. And now it's in North Carolina. So I don't know. Never been there, but we'd like to.
I don't know. One of these years we want to do some stuff. There's a bunch of vendors, manufacturers. Rusty Wallace, his son's got their chopper show, or their custom bike manufacturing there. Whole bunch of places that we'd love to go and spend, but we always thought we would do it in between Daytona and Leesburg. But the problem is we're still in the winter months and they can get snow up there, where I don't want to ride my bike all the way up there in the snow. So maybe one of these days we'll fly out there for a couple of weeks and rent a car and just drive around to a bunch of these places and check all that out. Something to put on the list. There you go. She's writing it down.
No, I'm not writing what did you say?
Not listening.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to read the comments. What'd you say? Wheels Through Time and all that other stuff?
I said maybe we'd fly in and take a week or two and just rent a car and drive to all those places.
Oh, yeah, that would be good.
That way we could get it. We wouldn't have to go in that time of year. We could wait till like in the summer or in between flights to see how things go. So we're hoping things go. I got a video coming out. So tomorrow's video is all about fat tires.
There you go.
So we're going to start doing some videos for our sponsors that are helping us get to the rallies next year. Actually, getting to the next 2 rallies is what Camp Easy Ride paid. So the vendors that we have, these are all people that you have seen before. So it's not anybody that we're pulling up and saying, oh, somebody's going to send us some money and we're just going to talk about it. No, these are all people that which if you don't know anything about our channel and you haven't been around here for the whole haul, Buddy Art's not on here tonight. He was actually on the other day. He's going to retire. He's going to start doing some riding with me. So we might have it starting next year.
I'm not holding my breath.
I talked to him 2 or 3 times this week. It's kind of shocking.
I know. We haven't heard from him in almost 2 years. And now all of a sudden he's
which is fine. And he loves to ride. And
13 years. There you go.
So, but what happened to him is years and years and years ago, and this is probably 20 years ago, we went and he got screwed on a fairing, a stereo, and we chased the guy down that did it. Ended up, the paint started peeling off of it. He had a custom painted to match his bike. They installed it at the rally. The stereo, they ended up wire tying and using tape on all the wires and stuff. And it was just like, we finally chased the guy down. He told us to come to his shop. So we went there and he come out and he looked at it and he's like, what? And we're like, well, this is all, the paint's all messed up. Well, I got a new painter now. Well,
it doesn't do us any good.
What can we do about this? Well, I'll charge you to paint it again. And so he paid, but this, like I said, this is like 20 years ago. He paid about $1,500 back then for it. And you can buy one from one of our new sponsors that we're going to have for about that same amount of money and get a brand new one that's going to be all American made and everything else. So that's kind of how we started doing our vendor thing. Is we wanted to make sure that the vendors that we have always put on our channel, unless it's just somebody we're stopping by, but the ones that I put a list up every once in a while, I'll put a list of all the different ones that we recommend. We actually guarantee their work. So because that's the problem with people always say, hey, I'm going to go all the way down to I went to Sturgis. What happens? I spent $20,000 for lighting and air shocks and all this stuff on my bike. I get home with the bike and it don't work. Now what do I do? Well, some of these vendors would just say, well, we'll see you at the next rally. Well, most of the ones that we deal with will either pay somebody to fix it right or whatever they'll do. There's different options that are out there. But so that's what we do. So the people that we have that you're going to see on our channel that are ones that are sponsoring us, these are people that are helping us get to next year's rallies. And they're not paying a fortune for this. But it's just an idea to where we can get a little bit of money coming in to help us get to those, because it's just getting too expensive for us to go to Florida and go to Myrtle Beach. So now the goal of next year is to fly in. We're still having a little bit of issues here. We still don't have everything ironed out. I think we got Daytona now, spring rally. I think it might be set up now. I could get the airline tickets for that. Leesburg, she's got to make one more call to that and book our place for Leesburg. We got to call about a motorcycle there. Panama City, I don't know yet. I like Panama City. I don't know. We don't have a place to stay yet, and we don't have a motorcycle set up yet. So those are two things that we're looking at. Myrtle Beach, I'd love to do that. We thought we was going to have our condo, and that got all messed up this year, and we don't really know what's going on. She's been yipping at the people at the condo association and trying to figure out what's going on, because we thought we'd just use our condo for the week. We went down there. They'd let us put a bike in the garage, all that stuff. It was going to be really a good deal, and thought, okay, we'll fly in then. And then there we know Steven said he would come and pick us up at the airport and drop us off, but we still needed a bike. So we do have two people that we're going to be talking to in October, November, about bikes. So that may get set up. I think Daytona, we're going to be pretty well set with a bike in Daytona. I just don't know. They've done some stuff in Myrtle Beach, and we're hoping they'll do Myrtle again and get us something there.
Yes. I want to know if we recommend the fairing exchange.
Yes. Paul and them do a really good job. They're one of the ones we're going to put on our sponsor list for this year too. They've given us the money over the last year or so, and it's really added up to enough to where it ended up being like our entry-level sponsorship program. So we're going to go ahead and give him that anyway. And Paul's done a really good job, and there's just going to be some of the vendors that we're going to shy away from now. And the reason for that is because we've got Joey does handlebars. Joey's, which is the video that's coming up tomorrow. It's all about customs. He did my handlebars. He does air shocks. He does fat tire kits, and he does them all right. And you're going to see the video tomorrow. It's going to show you how he put it together. This whole job, I edited it down, but it's about a 30-minute video. But it took about an hour. And that's even with him talking to some customers and stuff like that walked up, which I took that out. So you see us in the video once in a while, but we try to show you as much as possible because it's almost do-it-yourself video. It showed you a lot of stuff, how to do it yourself. And you can go to him and you can buy the stuff already set up, like his air shock system. He's got the dirty air ride is what he's got. And he's made a wiring loom and everything else where it's all made up. It's just you plug and play. And so it's really cool. And it's something he did. And we showed that on one of the videos earlier this year. I think it was in Daytona. He had showed us that. And we put it on a
that's
video.
who they're putting. Fairing Exchange is putting that handlebars on CVMA flashes.
Okay.
Did we meet you last year at Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue? Because we met a couple right outside of the Harley Davidson dealership, the Pig Trail dealership. And I don't know if that's who you are. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know if I wrote down your guys' name or not. Do any of these vendors work on Indians?
No. Yes. Well, not anybody that sponsors us. Ciro 3D has Indian stuff that they do on bikes. They do have, now there is places you can go, like if you're in Daytona, if you go to Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue, Rogers, we have an Indian dealer there that actually has a dyno on the property, which is, we don't know them, but they have a dyno there and they can dyno the Indian bikes and stuff. But typically, most of the stuff that you see at a rally is more for baggers 14 and up. If you got an older bike, just like her, Sportster, we could not find anybody that had handlebars in stock for her bike. And, oh, you can order them for next time. Well, no, I'll have them on by then. And so, but I mean, I thought we could just knock it out while we're there. Well, nobody had anything for Sportsters. So, and that's in 2015.
So Robert said, who did you recommend for handlebars again?
Well, we recommend All About Customs. It's all and then slash bout, B-O-U-T, and then customs with a Z on the end. He's got a Facebook page. He's at all the rallies. So he does the fall rallies. He's already set up Myrtle Beach. We just found that out. He just told us that they will be at Barefoot Landing. There'll be vendors there this fall. So FYI, a lot of people wondering, we thought they were going to go over to the Bass Pro, be out in front of there. And Joey just wrote and told us that, no, we got our permits and everything says that Barefoot Landing on them. I'm like, that sounds great. Hopefully it'll be there for the spring too. So Joey's at almost all the rallies. He'll be in Ocean City. He's going to be in Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. He's going to be at all the fall rallies. I don't know if he does Leesburg.
Who?
Joey.
Yeah.
Oh, he does Leesburg?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's at the dealership.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, pretty much all the rallies. He does Galveston. So, yeah, all those rallies he's at. Okay. You can contact him. If you need information, you get it from us. You can go to his Facebook page. He puts his phone number on there. You text him. He'll call you. And what he wants to do, well, you're not getting Fat Tire. But the handlebars, he's pretty much got those in stock. But just call and see. Because like I said, somebody the other day asked him if they had some handlebars for a 2010. And he just said, no, I don't do anything older than 2014. A lot of times why they do this, same thing with dealers do this, because the parts aren't around anymore. So if something breaks, you're screwed. And you know, when I'm working on your bike at a rally, I can't just say, well, sorry, you got to trailer your bike home now. You know, so that's why a lot of the vendors stay away from that, because most of the time, the 2014, you can pretty much go anywhere. You know, JP Cycles has got parts in stock if something happens, or you can go to the dealership and get stuff if they've got stuff in stock for it.
It's not in the center.
So that's one of the reasons it's 2014 and newer. 2024's, Joey's got stuff for that. Actually, the bike he's putting on all new, he's lower in the front. He's putting Orland's struts in the front. He's doing the fenders. He has them all painted, color coded to your bike.
So I wanted to say something real quick. Paul from Fairing Exchange, Joey's Fat Tire Kits, Wide Open Customs, and their inner fairings. Paul paints all those guys' equipment or whatever, fenders and inner fairings and fairings, Harley colors. He's got access, not just anybody I think can get those.
Well, I think you can order the paint. So it's Harley paint. The only exception to the rule, Paul does not paint CVOs. Joey has a painter that does CVO stuff for him. So, but the rest of the stuff, yeah. We did a video a while back, a couple years ago, on the Fairing Exchange showing their paint booths and stuff. They do a lot of painting. Actually, they give you a really good deal. If you were looking to color change your bike, nothing too fancy, they've got a great price, a lot cheaper than these guys that are selling you a complete kit. You just take it off and put it on. There, you can take it to there, and they'll take it apart, paint it, put it all back together for you for a lot better price than what they're charging you to buy the parts, and you do it all yourself. So something to think about, Fairing Exchange. So yeah, they do a really great job there. We have no problem with them. So we have just a handful of people that we're we're going to say they're our sponsors. The other people, we're not going to really go into the booths anymore. We're going to show you from the outside what they've got, and that's about it. Most of these other vendors, a lot of them are doing some of the same stuff. The problem that we see with rallies is a lot of these rallies, these vendors that get really big, they start hiring a lot of guys that not very experienced, and that can be a problem. So if you have somebody that doesn't really know what they're doing and somebody's supposed to be watching them, but they get so busy that that guy can't watch them anymore, then stuff gets out. So most of the people that we're talking about, Paul has a good group. Joey's got a good group that's working for them. We have Wide Open Customs. He does the fairing. It's him and his son does most of the work that's there. And so he's one of our sponsors. We got Twisted Tea. They're a sponsor. Who else we got? Oh, we got Camp Easy Ride. Does the tents and all set up and get you all there. And it's kind of neat. If you were going to stay in a tent anyway, and we see this at all the campgrounds, even the Kathmandu, people buy all that stuff and they just leave it. They buy some chairs, they buy a tent, they buy a blow-up mattress, all this stuff, and they just leave it. And you spend all that money, you might as well pay a little extra and get something like Camp Easy Ride's got. What's cool about Camp Easy Ride, other than just giving you a place to sleep, they give you entertainment for the whole week.
Yeah.
So if you just want to, there's people there that we've got some interviews that we're going to be doing on some of their videos that we're going to be doing. That we're going to start doing videos, and it'll say this video is sponsored by, and then in the middle you'll see a little clip from something that they've done or something like that. And so it's pretty, but it's camaraderie, especially if you're somebody who's coming by yourself, man or woman. You can
or even a couple.
Yeah.
If you want to hang out with people and you're not going to even know anybody there, that's what a lot of people go there for. So it's really cool.
You can do a riding together. There's even people that don't even have motorcycles. They got a hot tub, they got a cold tub, they got all kinds of games, they got a stripper pole out there this time. It's pretty much nonstop stuff on. There's coffee every morning. They've got flat stone griddles that sometimes they cook something, but most of the time you can bring your own stuff and you can cook it up if you want to, stop at the store and grab some hamburger or something and cook them up and save you a little bit of money at the campground and stuff. Then they also go out and do stuff. This time in Sturgis, they actually had a bus take everybody to Deadwood and gamble for the night. Yeah. So that was kind of cool. So just really neat things that you might want to check into for Camp Easy Ride.
Thanks, Tony.
And we have Boss Hoss. They're another one that's going to be sponsoring us. They got a brand new little trike coming out. Or wait till we show you. We showed you a little bit the other day. And when we do a video for them, you're going to see this little doing some donuts out in the parking lot. And actually, the guy that actually was watching it that is there, he ended up already ordering one. He's in number 3 in line because they're not going to come out until sometime next year. I think is when they start production on them. It was kind of a demo one. It's kind of like the big wheel that you had when you were a kid. This has got fenders on it, big V8 engine, and it's just bad to the bone. If I was going to buy a trike, I'd probably want something like that. I'd probably kill myself though on it.
Yeah, just like you tried to do on a go-kart one year. Oh, made an urn out of a sports. I thought it said and I'm like, what is it? Made an urn out of a Sportster tank. Turned out badass. Is that what you want me to put you in? He wants to be sprinkled out in the ocean. Do you think I should make an appointment for All About Customs or Fairing Exchange?
Yes, wherever you go, you should call ahead. The reason I always suggest that is
he wants to know which one he should do. I didn't know. Does Paul do?
I think he does KST.
Okay.
It
depends on what kind of handlebars you want. If you want the KST, because I think Joey does fat baggers.
Fat bagger bars.
Yeah.
That's the only one.
So it depends on which handlebars you want. So I guess Fairing Exchange does KST and Joey does fat baggers. So we recommend them both. So it just depends on what kind of handlebars.
Joey did mine. I like Joey when I went and got my handlebars from him. Is we stood there and actually go back, you can watch the video on handlebars. And it wasn't really set up. That's what he does with every customer. He talks about it. How do you want it to be? How do you want it to sit? And then if he wants you to come back while he's doing, because it takes about an hour to put the handlebars on too. You can hang around and then he'll have you sit on it and get it to about where you want it. The way you get everything right. That's the thing that I always say, because a lot of people say, I don't know why you do stuff at the rallies like that. And I said, one of the things which I've just gotten from you guys, when I had my Legend shocks put on my bike, we actually took it out 3 times for them to adjust up the shocks to get them right. And a guy wrote on that comment, and he wrote, I I just got some Legend shocks put on the dealership, and my bike was sitting out in the parking lot to pick it up. They never asked me what I weighed. They didn't ask if we rode 2 up. They didn't ask anything. Well, just like Joey is when he sells the Orlands, he asks you all this stuff. Well, how much you weigh? Does your wife ride with you? What do you weigh? Here's all the settings they want to set to where when you get on it, it's perfect. You really don't have to tinker with it anymore. And so that's what you kind of want when you're getting something. You want something that when you buy it, you're explained totally through it, that you understand it. It's like the Fairing Exchange. They do the digital gauges, and they know so much about it. Where this year I didn't ask them, but I've gone back there before, and I'm like, how do you do that again? I don't remember how to set this or do that. And they're like, oh, come over here, let me show you how it's done. And they're happy to do that. They're not like, looking in the manual or call the manufacturer or whatever. So it's the people that we have go a little bit up and above to take care of you in any of the instances we have. So that's why I said we're very particular about people that if somebody called me up right now and said, hey, I'll send you some money if you sponsor us. And I'm like, who are you? And he told me, and I'm like, I really don't know your product. I'm not interested. And because money's not everything. One is my reputation. If I'm going to tell you something, I want it to be in gold. That's why you don't see us selling all this junk on Amazon. I've sold a couple things a year or so ago. We're not doing any of that stuff anymore. Because if it's not something that I know about or something that I can believe in, this stuff on Amazon, these companies send us, I get 10 emails a day from Chinese companies that sell crap on eBay or on Amazon. And, we'll give you 10% or we'll give you 15%. So all these people that have a link, when they point down there and say there's a link, they're making money off of you. Just to cut and dry. You won't see anything down there that we have links other than our t-shirts and the Venmo. You can send us money and things like that if you want to donate money. Our Patreon channel, things like that. But most of the stuff down there, I do have an Amazon store, but I mean nobody really buys anything from it. But I mean it's got stuff. I got some of our cameras and stuff. I don't really talk about all that stuff, but it's down there in the comments. Not
because some people ask what do you use, or they're trying to start a YouTube channel or they want to film and they just curious what we use. So it's the information's down there.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that. That's why
I'm shirts.
What?
I said that's for the shirts.
Yep. So if you want to get some of our new stuff, our new shirts that we got, I had printed up for Sturgis. You can buy them down there at bobandtamstuff.com. And we'll be adding some more stuff to that as things get going. We're gonna go see our daughter tomorrow. And I'm gonna have her see if she can fix my header for me. I'm not very good at making things on YouTube or on websites or anything like that. So we got to get that. We're going to be dressing up our website when we get to Ocean City. Ryder X is going to help us get all that. Finally, get all it. We'll have all of our. So is he on now?
Yes, he is.
Supposed to help us. And get that damn Facebook thing working. And I don't like to do it over the phone. And so get that. And we want to put all of our sponsors' logos down at the bottom. So you can go down there anytime you see it. I'd like it to go to where you can hit it and it would take you to their websites. That would be cool.
I think I can do that.
And so that would be kind of neat. And so you can kind of see who people we have. But you can always write us. You can call us or text us, or if you got our phone numbers. If not, you can always email us. We'll send you a phone number. I'm happy to give out any advice. If there's something you're looking for that maybe we don't sponsor, we can tell you there's different products out here. Like there's a new guy he's out of Florida. It's called Suspension Technology. And we're already got, I've done Legends and Joey does the Orlands now. I'd like to put the Orlands on my bike just to see the difference, if what I would feel. Here are good things about them.
But they're made in Switzerland.
Yeah. So they're not American
So Greg M says that he had progressive 944s and went to Legends. He said, no kidding, night and day difference.
Yeah. I used to have progressives on my bike I had before this one.
2010.
Yeah. So I put progressive on all that, and I changed all those out myself. And then when we started, I wanted something better, which it is. You put anything like Legends or the Orland shocks or probably these progressive shocks. There's another one out there now. It's Fox. They do ones for race cars and stuff, 4-wheel drive vehicles or off-road. A lot of those competitions, that's who does that. And JP Cycles has them, and we talked to them last year. So there's a lot of these companies that are probably good products. I haven't really looked into them. I've talked to them. They sound really good. I've talked to the factory people.
We haven't used them though.
Yeah, so I can't say that I would go with them. That's what I said. I'd like to do the Orland shocks eventually, maybe on my bike, just for the idea to say, okay, how was the Orlands compared to the Legend shocks? But But other than that, like I say, we're always happy to give you, just like stereos. Stereos is just a mess, depending on what you want. Every stereo is a little different. We've got the Rockford Fosgate on our bike, and I've got the one where you can ride 90 miles an hour, and both of us can hear the music clear as day without a headset on.
Somebody just asked if we've ever heard of Wilbur's motorcycle shocks.
No.
And that's what Rider X just said. In my humble opinion, Orland's and Wilbur's suspension are the best, and they are more expensive, but their ride is amazing as well.
So a lot of them is
it's the old saying, you get what you pay for.
Yeah, and a lot of times you do, but you want somebody too that's going to stand behind it. Most of these shocks, I'm assuming Orland's is, but see, some of this stuff is like, I don't know if it's Orland's, that they actually want you to send the shocks back into them to be calibrated every 4 years or something. And I'm like, well, that's kind of crappy. I want to pull all that off my bike and let it sit there until however long it takes them to get it and get it back. Where the Legends has a lifetime warranty on them. If anything goes wrong with them,
and they're made right there in Sturgis.
Yeah, and I think they do. Mine ride a little rougher now than it did when we first got them on. So I need to kind of look at them and see. I was going to have somebody look at them this year at the rally, and I didn't get around to doing it because we never adjust them. It's set for 2 up, but it seems like the bumps are a little harder now than they were before. They've been on, I guess, 2 years now. So it kind of just depends on the vehicle. So that's one of the things you always want to look at is warranty and stuff. There's a lot of this stuff you got to really watch. It's like Ciro and the one, what's the other lighting company? Ciro and
Custom Dynamics.
Yeah, Custom Dynamics. You've got to watch if you install that stuff yourself, or if they install it for you. You want to make sure they don't cut any wires. If you cut off the ends, like let's say it's got an eye hook on it, but it's like this long and you only need this long. If you cut that wire, you voided your warranty. So, if they're putting it on, you're kind of screwed, because if they shouldn't be doing it. But I mean, when you're having somebody, an aftermarket, it could be anybody down here. Joe Blow's got a tent and he's doing lighting too. And next thing you know, it's kind of like here, Mike that got married last year in Sturgis, he got some lights from Ciro, and that's what they told him. It ended up being, it was one that go across the back of his luggage boxes, storage, whatever they're called. I can't think what the word is.
Side bags?
Yeah.
Tour pack
bags, and tour packs on top. And but it went out. So they told him, well, 2 choices. One, we can mail you free of charge new ones. You just send the old ones back. We'll send you a label, send it back. Or you can wait till the next rally and we'll replace them for free for you. So I think he ended up just telling them to send them, and I think he cleaned it off and put it on himself. And because a lot of that stuff is all stuck on just with 3M tape, and the biggest thing is got to be clean. You got to use some alcohol, something that's going to take all the dirt off and dry instantly, so it's pretty clean. Because if you don't get a good fit, it's going to come off. So, but I mean, I've had it on my CVO. I've taken the saddlebags off. Saddlebags, that's what they are. I've taken them off so much that the plugs have gone bad. The wires are broke on them. I had to replace those. One, I got one of the vendors fixed me up one day because I couldn't lock my bags. And the lights didn't come on when you opened up the tour pack anymore. So, or the side bags. So that had wore out just from taking it on and off the bike all the time.
Yeah. Because we were putting it in and out of the trailer, and we didn't want to get them scratched up. So we took them off every time we put them in the trailer. So Tony Dev says, if you come to the UK, you're welcome to visit our MCC. Love from Scotland, UK.
There you go.
So that would be kind of cool if we ever get over there.
Don't know.
Just a heads up, less than half of you have hit the thumbs up button, Neil says.
There you go.
Rider X says Orland's and Sturgis were way cheaper than the Legends. How about that? It is super necessary to put on Legends on the front, or is the back normally good enough?
I recommend doing them all. If you're going to do your front and back, you should do it all, just to keep it all balanced right. One of the things you want to get away from, if you've got a touring bike like mine, you got the air shocks. You need to get rid of the air shocks. There really wasn't a good design to put. Harley came out with that to start with. You don't really have to really have a nitrogen one, but if you want something that you can adjust, but I mean, some of the normal shocks, you've got the ratchet, you can change it, adjust them. Because if you really look at it, we're not racing our bikes. You really don't need gas charged shocks on a bike you're going to ride. Maybe go out to Sturgis, you go out on some windy roads, but I mean, you're not doing 120 around the track. So You really don't need all that, but everybody buys them because it looks good. You got the little canisters up there on the back of your bags or whatever. It looks cool. But yes, the front, I have never changed the front until this time when I had the Legends put on. And I couldn't believe how much. One is you don't do the nosedive no more. The bike, when you hit the brake, it doesn't go down like it did before. With the factories, it went down. It did a nosedive all the time. That was kind of the best thing. One of the things I've seen. The other thing is when you're riding in the curvy roads, pushing the bike a little bit, it's a little stiffer. It holds you a little tighter to the road versus a stock bike, because we found that out when we rode that 2021 last year out in Pig Trail Harley, when they gave us that 20 to 21. After I'd rode my bike so long, I was like, this thing is all over the road on the curves. It just was not. It didn't feel like it was hugging the road. And then I kept thinking it was me. And somebody said, well, it's because you put the Legend shocks on. It's a stiffer ride. Now the Orleans, which I don't know, I don't think Legends is this way, but the Orland shocks, you watch the video tomorrow, one is for downstroke, the other one's for upstroke, which really makes sense.
So Chip said he didn't know, but the stock Harley, he did both of his. He said the stock Harley only has one front shock.
It's got springs on both sides. Don't know. But that was a difference I'd seen on the Orleans, because Joey, I'd never seen that before. And I know when they did mine, Rick Rack did my Legends, and I stood there that we filmed that too and put it on, and they didn't really have a left and a right. And on the Orleans, there is a left and a right. One side is compression, and one's whatever the other way would be called. One's down and one's up. And so I said that makes a little more sense. Yeah. So that made a little more sense, because you would want that versus just a rebound down, because typically most shocks are more for down, not for the upstroke coming up. You want to have it more, you don't want to hit hard or whatever. It's going to absorb that way, and it just naturally comes back up.
So Chip says yes, both springs, yes, but only one side has an actual shock. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it would be.
I don't know. Somebody else asked if you think the 85th was going to be busy and why.
One, it's an anniversary. That's my first thing. Second thing I say, and a lot of people argue with me this all the time, but you're going to all find out. I'm not going to be wrong in this, because I've got enough evidence now to prove that this is right, is we're all getting older. We're at the end of the baby boomers. We're going to turn 65 next year not during the rally. Well, somebody will turn 65 right after the rally. And so I don't know how many more years I want to do this. Yeah, there's some guys out there that are 80 years old, but I mean, there's some guys that we know that went 2 years ago and now they don't go anymore. It's a hard trip, to do it. Even if you're pulling your trailer and stuff, that's still a lot to do. So that's the point that I look at, is the industry is changing, and younger riders aren't as abundant as the older riders used to be.
We ain't 20 no more.
Yeah. And it's you look at the kids today, 90% of them probably don't even know what a motorcycle is. They're all on their phones or their computers or gaming. If it's what she always said, if they could put a game that they could play on their phone as they rode the bike that would ride the bike, they would probably do it.
Yeah. That's the only way you're going to get them to do it.
But I said, but that's my point of, this is going to be, my thoughts is it could be as big as the 75th, and which is great. And I think after that, things are going to die. And we see this at all the rallies. All the rallies are a lot smaller. Just in these last 4 or 5 years we've done this, we see that the crowds aren't as big as they used to be, just in 4 years.
And I feel bad, because I wish we would have done this earlier, but I guess we probably couldn't have, because we were both still working. But they said, oh man, you should have seen it in its heyday, like by Susan Barbecue, when Dixon Street had all these bikes all lined up. And then they said, and the Harley anniversary, when they have their homecoming, this one whole street is just full of bikes. And then, Sturgis was, crazy back in the day. And it's like, we never went to any of that. So
I used to go to the Laughlin River Run. We've done that for about 20 years. So we kind of seen that die. That's kind of a typical example of how it happened. Las Vegas, we used to have a motorcycle rally there. It's gone. The one that's up in Reno is pretty much fizzled out. It's the city doesn't want it anymore. It's going down the tubes. So more and more, you see Daytona. Daytona doesn't want motorcycle rally there. Ormond Beach, yes. Daytona, no. One of these days, they're gonna take Main Street and they're gonna close it down. They're gonna make it into some fancy, snobby little condos and have a garden walk down, and you won't be able to ride a motorcycle down the street. One day, that bridge down there that has a drawbridge, the guy jumped a couple years ago, if that ever breaks, they got no parts for that. The city has already decided they will close that bridge permanently on both sides.
Because there's one on either side. There's one on Grand and one on International. So they don't really need the Main Street one anymore.
And nobody really, other than bike rally, nobody drives across that bridge, because
not very often.
Yeah. Because downtown, you go downtown, like we did. When we're in Daytona, not counting this next year, but last year, we get there about a month ahead of time. So pretty much down there on the A1A, it's mostly a bunch of homeless people sleeping on the sidewalks and hanging out. And you see a few tourists, but Daytona has died itself. It doesn't have the crowd. It's not the beach crowd. People go to Miami or Panama City or Destin or someplace like that people just don't come to Daytona anymore. So that's my point that I'm really getting to, is this is all dying. And I say we probably got a good 10 years maybe left before it's completely, they just decide it's over with. Bikes are changing, and we see more cars. Sturgis this year had a very large abundance of cars. Last year, they all said because it rained. This year, you got no excuse. It only rained on Sunday, really, after the rally was over. So it really didn't affect the rally. But there was a mess of cars. I've never seen so many cars in my life in Sturgis during the rally. Sturgis is only, it says 7,000 on the sign, but it's only about 2,500 people live in that town year round. So it's not a very big town. You got two main streets, Junction and LaSalle. The other side streets really don't take you anywhere. You got to weave through if you know the back way to get around. There's no straight street that you can cut through to get anywhere other than those two main streets. So all these cars are coming down these streets. It's getting busier. The problem with this, and the point that this was supposed to be, is people in cars don't buy motorcycle parts. They buy a bunch of stupid T-shirts. Well, we already got way too many T-shirt places in Sturgis. All rallies are that way.
There were more this year than ever before.
I'd say 75 to 80% of Main Street is T-shirt places now.
And it's getting just like Laconia, where Weir Beach is just nothing but T-shirt shops, and that's it. Salty Badger says he thinks Randy is doing a cycle showcase at Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. So is that Radical Randy or Randy from Cycle Source?
I would hope it'd be. I don't think it's Radical Randy because he's not around anymore.
In trouble.
Yeah, he might be in the pokey by now.
What's the cost of those? Yes, went to the last three. Laughlin said when it was no more, but when we were there, it was a thing. Yep, back in the day. Yep. So XM Biker says he's doing really good since we mentioned him, and says he's got a YouTube channel and you need to check him out. Yep. He's up to 280 people, he said. So he's on a roll, getting up there. I know it's a slow climb. Believe me, we've been there and done that. So,
and it all spurts around. We did pretty good here. We gained probably about 3,000 during Sturgis, and now it's all slowed down again. I think I've gained about 30 or 40 in the last week or so. So things have kind of quieted down. The videos kind of quiet down too. We don't have as many people watching our stuff.
Got 127 on right now.
Not bad. But it's
especially since it's getting close to football time, because we do our lives on Sunday, and it's like, we usually don't do them in the fall because everybody's watching football. Nobody wants to watch YouTube.
No.
So
it all kind of depends on how it goes. So yeah, summer is mostly our big time. But if we start doing the bike builds and stuff, there won't be videos every day. It'll probably be 1 or 2 videos a week, and that'll be it. Showing that stuff, because I won't have time to be showing everything. We'll put it all in one video for the day and put it out. It might be a 30 to 45-minute video, but I'll have a whole bunch of stuff that I did.
We're going to get there the Wednesday before, or the Wednesday it starts, I believe. So we'll be there. We'll get there on the 11th. So I guess the 12th is actually when we'll be there. We fly in on the 11th, and then we fly into Baltimore, and then we'll be in Ocean City that night. So we'll be available on the 12th. Robert wanted to know. Robert Watson.
So we're there till Sunday, and then we fly out on Sunday.
Yeah.
And so that's a short rally for us. There we're actually sponsored. We stay with one of our subscribers, and he sets up with a bike. We fly in, and we rent a car in Baltimore and drive down. And so we don't know a lot about Ocean City. This year we're definitely, last year we tried to do a lot of stuff with the concerts and stuff. I'm not going to do any of that stuff anymore. We didn't watch any concerts in Sturgis either this year. Which usually ends up happening that way. I don't go to a rally to watch concerts. I go to a nice theater, or I go into Vegas, or I go to a cool place to watch a concert. Something in a nice chair, I can sit back. If I want to get a cold beer, it's going to be ice cold, not something that they just cold. The outside's cold and the beer's warm inside. Be able to get some food, regular food, maybe not something that you got to stand in line forever for and never get. Got a real John that has a flushable toilet in it, running water to wash your hands. Most of those odd houses don't even have any place to wipe your hands off or anything, or antiseptic or anything. So isn't that a real clean place? Everybody touching stuff. But
we got up at 5 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
That's why I keep yawning. Yeah. I'm very tired.
So today was a busy day. Our air conditioner at home went out yesterday. The fan started making all kinds of noise. She heard it in the kitchen. It's like, what is that?
We got home from church last night, and I'm going in the kitchen. I hear this clonk, 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 clonk. Clonk, 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 clonk. And I'm like, what is that? There's nothing on.
So she's listening to the garbage disposal. And I said, it doesn't. The garbage
disposal hasn't worked in 5 years.
There's a new one underneath. Yet. We got to quit traveling. So I went outside. As soon as I opened the door, I'm like, oh, it's the air conditioner. I can hear it around the corner of the house. So I went out there, and so the guy, we had a guy work on it in 2020, and I put a capacitor in it and stuff. So I thought, I started looking at the website, and they said they do emergency calls. It's already Saturday. It's already getting kind of late. So
it was about 8:30.
I said, go ahead. Well, I looked at it for about an hour thinking about it. And I said, well, go ahead and call the guy and see if they'll come out tomorrow. What's their price between Sunday and Monday? Because Monday we were going to be gone anyway. So we had to stay or had to have somebody else come to the house. So ended up, she called the guy. It was $25 more for him to come out. So it wasn't bad. It ended up giving me a 55 and older, got a discount, saved $65. So it ended up, I got a new fan motor and a new capacitor, and his labor, his service call and everything was like $565 or something, I think is what it was. And I was pretty pleased with that. I was expecting maybe as much as $1,000. Because
or a new whole system.
I knew I didn't need to, because I was thinking about buying my own fan motor. Well, I looked at, you got to order it. Nobody's got one in stock, not on a Sunday at least. And so I went to, and I'm like, let's just call the guy and let's see what they charge. And they hadn't come out. And so it was $110 for him just to walk in the door. That's what is charged. $85 for the rest of the week as a service call, and then plus whatever they do. They charged me a lot for the blower motor, which I think charged me like $400 for the blower motor. And I'm like, it's not that expensive. I found one at Home Depot for $80. So, but you had to order it. So, but now it's fixed. It's running cool. Everything's going good. So we can leave tomorrow and not have to worry about it. So that's what we did yesterday. So this morning we had to get up. So he was supposed to get there between 8 and 10 in the morning. And the owner was going to come out. And so we want to move the trailer over to the garage. Here, it's in here now. I already put it in here. Did that this morning. So she decided she wanted to get up early this morning. So she still had stuff in the trailer she needed to take out, our helmets and stuff like that we're going to take
to Ocean City.
Some stuff, some gear that we need to take. Rain suits and all that. She had to get all that out of the trailer still. So then around 6 o'clock, we brought it over here. Lowered it down. We had the couches and stuff. If you've seen the videos, couches are back here. We had to put them back in the RV so I could scoop my chopper over so we could get 2 cars in. Got the family truckster out here, and then my big truck's behind that. And because we don't have to leave cars outside anymore. And so we did all that, and then we got back, and actually it was about 7 o'clock we were done by. And so I said, well, we were thinking about go eat, and she said, well, let's just wait. So then we went home and we did a bunch of more stuff, and then we went and ate about 10 o'clock in the morning. And
that's all we've eaten all day.
Yeah, so we've done all that, and so we got all that done.
Somebody took a nap.
Yeah, I tried to. 20 or 30 minutes maybe.
And I had to pack to go to our daughter's house and get all that done. So I had all his stuff done. I just had to pack all my stuff. So I think pretty much everything's ready to go. So in the morning we can just get up and get ready and go.
But I've told her, our daughters are the same way. Always packed the night before, and you got all this time, and it's like the gear to take on this trip for when we go to Ocean City and stuff. I said, well, we should kind of get that stuff together now, so that way, because we're gonna get back here on the 2nd of September, and so on the 10th we got to go to Vegas. We're gonna fly out of there. We leave at like 6:40 in the morning to get over there because the time changes. We get over there about 10:30 in the morning. By the time we get the car and all that,
so we lose 3 hours of sleep, and we're leaving at 6 in the morning.
You need to go to bed earlier that night.
You think?
Well, you would. So that's all the plans for right now for that. So we're still trying to get everything set up for next year. If everything kind of works out right, we may be doing Biketoberfest next year, 2025, not 2024, 2025. We might pull that back out because if we get Daytona all set up, there's not a problem with us coming in and out.
So Rick MC Matt Biker wants to know how my new bike is. Which one?
Well, right now you're going to see the video Tuesday is going to show you her bike. We kind of look at that and talk about it. So she has a 2015 1200T Sportster. It's got the bags, the windshield, everything on it. The only thing we really got to change on it was the handlebars. She's hurting her back the way they are. Some people didn't like her.
Over.
Yeah, some people didn't like her handlebars. They thought they were ugly. But I mean,
well, because they came up and kind of went up and in and out, whatever.
But I mean, it helped her. And that's all that matters. You want to be, it's not necessarily your bike has to look the coolest. You got to be able to ride it to be the coolest. So you want to buy stuff for your bike that's going to, it's like my stereo on my bike. I thought about that. My stereo, I have the Rockford. It's very high pitched. Screecher. There's no bass hardly at all to it. So you can actually turn it and it's almost like make your ears bleed because it's such a high tone. But what it is 90 miles an hour. She has no problem now hearing the songs on the back without headphones or anything. So that's, to me, that's the important thing. Where bass, once you get to about 45 miles an hour, the bass is way behind you someplace. So you lose all that. So if you're putting around town, yeah, you can put all that bass and stuff in there. Well, Rockford makes ones that you can drop those. Speeds has them in a couple of places. The boxes that you can drop into your saddlebags, but you can't put nothing in them then. And then it makes it bass. And which would be cool if that's what you wanted. There'd be one more thing to drag around, and we keep junk in the bag all the time anyway. Rain suits, jackets, whatever we got is in there. So
tea.
Yeah, my tea's in there. Cups, we put the cups in there when we walk around. So yeah, so we really wouldn't have room to put those in. They're like $2,500 or something, I think they were. Weren't the cheapest thing in the world, but if you want base. So that's kind of
all about the base.
Yeah. So just depending on what you want and what you want to do. And that's one of the reasons I like looking at stuff at Raleigh, especially Daytona and Sturgis. They're the two best because all the vendors are pretty much there. And it's the manufacturers. You can actually talk to somebody from S&S. You know, the guy that's the guru there. What's his name at S&S? The guru guy? Scott. He knows everything about S&S motors. And if he's Daytona and Sturgis, he's in the booth. And you can ask him any question in the world, and he's got your answer for you. Very knowledgeable, a lot of experience, and just a really good guy to talk to. And same thing with all these different places you go to. It's good to have, because like Joey, when I was talking to him the other day about the Orland shocks, and I said, now, what you're telling me, if I called the factory, would they tell me the same thing? They said, well, they would read it out of a book. But yeah, it's basically the same thing I'm telling you. But because you want to make sure that the information you're giving out is the same information the factory is giving out, because that's what happens with, I always tell that to people. Go down to your Harley dealer and ask for some slip-ons. They're going to have some Harley ones, and they're either going to have maybe some Vance and Hines, or they'll have some brand, and that's it. Well, how do they sound? I don't know. I got these on my bike, and so it's like a lot of these YouTubers say, oh, I got this muffler on my bike. It's the best in the world. Well, how the hell does he know? Does he add 1,000 different mufflers on his bike to determine which one is the best? You know, you're not a tuner. You're not a, so nobody can tell you that. And that's why I said that's always my pet peeves is what so many guys tell you that, oh, this is the best brand. Got to have this one. Got to buy this. Here's my guy, call him. Once again, he's probably getting a kickback, but you don't know. Are you doing it for performance? Are you trying to get your bike out? You're interested in sound, or what do you want? And so that's how you have to, just like cams, putting cams in your bike. There's so many people that they sell cams that you have to wrap the bike out to 3,500 to shift it. And so the guys get these cams, they put them in the bike, and they ride around town all the time. They don't ever get over 2,000 RPMs to shift it. And they can't figure out why the bike's a dog. Well, it's because you put the wrong cam in it. Speeds tells me that all the time. They said half the cams that come through there that they have to replace are because somebody didn't educate them on what kind of cam you put. Mine, I got to shift it at 2,000 RPM. That's what mine's set up at, because I'm not wrapping my bike out. I'm not running 4,000 or 5,000 RPMs of my bike when I'm shifting it. I don't push my bike that hard. But if you do, then you want a cam that's going to be that. So you want to know what you want. And by going to the right people, they're going to give you that information and tell you what you have. Where just some guy that's a YouTuber telling you, well, this is what you need to have. Oh, this is what I got. This is the best cam in the world. This is the best this is the best that. How the hell does he know? Nobody knows. I couldn't even tell you that because I don't have that experience that I've done 1,000 cam jobs in my life, or I've rebuilt, I've installed dozens of Legend shocks. You know, I've seen the one. I put shocks on the back of my bike, but that's the other thing that I always say about the vendors is when you go to these vendors, it's just like Joey. He probably did, I don't know, 10 fat tire kits today. Where if you go to a custom shop, maybe they do one a month, maybe one every 3 months. So would you rather have a guy that's done a bunch of them to where it's just like clockwork for him? He knows every move he's got to make. He knows what he's got to torque. And this time, some people complain about the last fat tire. We didn't show the torquing. I don't show every single step that they make on the
We filmed it, but I mean, do you want to watch a 2.5 hour video?
Well, an hour video.
Well, if you put on what you filmed and you put on what I filmed, it'd be a long video.
So we just don't do all that. We show you kind of, because it's once you see one bolt comes off, it's a fender. There's 4 bolts all together. Take the fender off. You only need to show you one. I don't need to show you all 4 of them coming out. It's not rocket scientist. Pull the axle out, take the nuts off, slide her out. And so there's taking the caliper off. I showed one. I didn't show the other side. If you took one side off, you ought to know how to take the other side off. So it's just common, and some people do those videos like that. They show you everything and it just drags on. Because I've watched some of those videos if I'm looking to do something or do something on my bike.
Sometimes you say they're informative because there might be that one clip that you never know that's in there and you got to.
Well, but I mean, that's more in a car. But it's, but important things you would put in. But like torque, I don't like to show torque all the time because it depends on the bike you're working on. You should have an owner's manual for it. Not an owner's manual, but you should have a service manual for your bike. And they sell them all over the place because you want to make sure that everything that you are torquing with a torque wrench and stuff is to factory specifications. It's kind of like putting air in a tire. I asked him that on a fat tire, what air pressure would you put in? And he says, we max them out at 40 pounds. That's what we put all the fat tires at. I'm like, okay, it's interesting. I didn't know. I didn't even look at a tire to see what it was, but the idea is you want to know what is best to run. And that's the same thing with him. All of his personal bikes all have fat tires on them. So they ride them around. So they're comfortable. I'd like to get a fat tire maybe one day for my bike. Depending on how much longer it runs. It's still making a lot of noises. If you hear some of the videos, you can hear the clicking noise, the ticking noise. I have no idea what that is.
Well, it almost sounds like the compensator again, because when he turned it off, it goes clunk, clunk, clunk.
But it's ticking noise. You can hear when I'm going slow. The front camera picks it up. That's up on the fairing. And I have no idea what that is. And a couple people, mechanics I've had look at it, listen to it, and they're like, I don't know what that is either. It's up there someplace, probably on the left side of the bike, because that's where the camera's at. But I mean, it's not brakes. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know if it's coming out of the motor. I don't know what it is. I've got new lifters. I've got new, there's not a lot down there to make it's a high pitched tick. And you'll hear it in the videos if you hear it. Sometimes I put music over. And people complain about that, why we put music over a lot of times when we're riding and stuff. There's 2 main reasons we do it. One, copyrighted music. You walk around down Main Street or we're riding a bike and some guy's got his stereo so freaking loud that everybody can hear it. If it plays more than 3 or 4 seconds, I get gigged on that and I lose the money that we make on the video. I wasted my time on making a video. So we put music over it. If we're somewhere that we're riding the bike, you got wind noise. I don't put one in my helmet. What would be the difference of just hearing me talk or if you just heard a little bit of music while we're riding? There's no wind mic that's going to stop that I can put on the front of the bike and drive 65 miles and down the road and you wouldn't hear the wind. There just isn't enough that's going to make that get away. It's too much wind noise. I could put a camera backwards, but I'm not going to sync it up. So you could hear a motorcycle run, but it's not going to hear when I shift because I'm not going to spend that much time syncing it up. This video that you watch, if you watch the video tomorrow, that's 4 cameras that I synced up. So there's 4 tracks there and all of them are filming something else. So I take that. One of them is the audio. And only 2 of them are, you'll see his mouth move. The other 2 cameras, you don't see him move because I'm not syncing the voice up. I'm syncing up to where it's happening at. So it all kind of plays together. So that one takes a little longer to run all these cameras together. Or a lot of people have one camera and they're just shooting it while they're filming their bike work or whatever. But maybe it works right. Maybe it don't. But it's by having, she's on one side of the bike while the guy's taking it apart. and I'm over there watching
Joey.
Joey doing the stuff that he's doing, rebuilding the cartridges and all the different stuff that he's doing, and talking about the parts and all that. And then we have one stationary camera, which is the main microphone. It's got the lapel mics on. That's stationary, and so I use it once in a while too. And so yeah, it gets to be a lot of editing. But if you want a good video, you got to give different shots. Or sometimes he moves in front of the camera. Well, what am I going to do? I could cut it and you don't see it, or I could switch to her cameras on the other side and you see where it was. Because you can't control, they're working. So the guy he's got helping him do the job walked in front of my camera several times. And then same thing if they talk. They were talking to a customer when she was filming the putting it back together or something in the front on the forks. And I had to use her sound because he was talking on the other side and it was going through the other two cameras. So
don't miss trash day.
You missed trash day.
No, the XM biker said still here, had to take the trash to the curb. I said, don't want to miss trash day.
Nope.
That's no fun. We went to the dump too.
The dump.
That was yesterday. Or was that
yesterday? Saturday. Because they ended up saying our dump is just down the road. It's probably 3-4 miles from here. And it costs like $11 or $12, something like that, to go dump. And you can take it. They got these big giant dumpsters up front. You just tell them it's household trash, and I can just back up to that. And you don't have to go way back in the dump or nothing, unless you got a bunch of junk. And so it's really handy. For us, we're never home. And for here, it's like $30 a month for the trash service, and you can't stop it. And so I'm like, no, I'm not paying for 6 months, $30 a month. Ain't nobody out here.
We have to pay for a sewer bill.
Yeah, from the
Indians. Oh, I got to pay that too.
They scalping us at $48 a month for the sewer, and my water bill is like $12. And I'm like, but the Indians, I guess maybe they owned this property at one time and the city took it over. I don't know what the story is. The water goes through the city water, and electric's through the electric company. So the only thing we pay the Indians is for our sewer. And it's like they're
well, because when we first bought it, we were only out here, if we were out here once a month. And one time we didn't even come out, and then and he gets the bill, and it's like $45. And I called him up and I said, well, is that like for the next 3 months? Because one of the bills we used to pay in California was every 3 months you paid it, and it was about $45. They said, nope, that's every month. And it's like, we're not there. They said, doesn't matter whether you use it or not.
Minimum charge.
Got to pay it. So, yeah.
So that's another whole story. But then they stock you $4 for paying it online. So I screwed them, and I pay them $200 at a time.
Nope. They charge you for each month.
They can't be doing that.
They do. And they charge me like $16 when I put that $200 in there.
We should call them and complain about that.
I'm just
They're a bunch
telling
of crooks. Damn Indians scalping us.
Don't know what to tell you.
Damn engines.
That's what I thought. I thought, well, here, we'll get them. We'll just pay the $4 and put $200 in there. Nope, they charge $16.
Bunch of crooks. So you always got some kind of utility company that's a pain in the ass, and that's the only one that really has electric, gas, water. Those are all fine. Here, I got a septic tank, so I ain't got to pay the damn engines here. I don't know who the sewer is here.
No, I don't think they have sewer out here.
I don't know. Some of these houses over here probably have sewer.
You think?
Yeah. The asphalt street, they probably do.
I don't know.
We got a rock road. Let's get in the shop. So there's all that kind of excitement. So any more questions they got?
Nope. Brian says, I would put an RV dump station in for $20 a pop.
I should do that.
Have people come out here?
Yeah. Dump it in their sewer.
I don't know.
Right now I got one up by the side of the house. So we have an RV pull up next to the house that is behind the gate. And we have a dump there. I got a 50 amp service and all that, their water, everything's right there. That's where we used to leave the trailer at all the time. But the sun out here is just brutal. And I got to put an awning on one of these days. I need to replace the awning.
Hey, Hendra.
Yeah, so I haven't done that
that's
yet.
Going to cost.
And probably about $2,000. And that's me. I'm doing it myself probably. It is like 25 foot long, 20 foot long, I guess is what it is. So it's a monster awning. And so, yeah, but the sun just cooked it out here. And so that's one of the reasons we wanted to build a shop to be able to put that in the boat. Same thing, I had to replace part of the upholstery on the boat because the tops of them all, even with covers we had on the boat and everything else, it still got through there and burned the top of the upholstery.
RV rays.
Yeah.
UV rays, not RV, UV.
Yeah.
I'm
so
tired.
that's one of the reasons we got a garage. And so at home, we can still put 2 cars in the garage. That's what we do now. Her Mustang, we took it out the other day. We got to put some new tires on it. And I got electric windows bad. I just bought that. AutoZone. If anybody wants to watch me do a video on how to install a electric motor in a Mustang, it'll be the second time I've done it in the last 20 years. And next year, the car will be 25 years old.
I don't think it'll be 25. It's a 2002, and it'll be 2025. So it won't be till 2027.
Yeah.
27. It'll be 25 years
We're going
old.
to put some tires on. We're trying to start driving that a little bit more. So it sits in the garage, and then we pulled a little Ranger truck next to that. And then the big truck, and then the family truck. The family truck we leave out. It's a Ford Expedition. We bought that years ago to pull the boat. Because we only had the little Ranger I had, and then we had the Mustangs. We really didn't have anything to pull the big boat. So I bought this Expedition cheap, and I put like 75,000 miles on this thing, and really had very little maintenance on the thing. A lot of tires. We've gone through a couple sets of tires on it, but 75,000 miles.
Yeah.
So that sits outside off and on. It really needs a paint job. It's already faded before we ever got it, and it's an Eddie Bauer, and but it still runs. And it was nice because when the kids come out, we got plenty of seats to put everybody in it, and it needs the air charged up again. The air's kind of weak. Now it's wrong.
He said, "Hang in there, Tam. Only 40 more minutes to go."
And so we got this chair here from Temu, Temu, and came out of Kentucky. Fontana, California is where it came out of, and it went like $67. And not a bad chair. Actually, the instructions were all in English. And
it was all labeled. Everything was labeled.
Because the arms, it said the arms had to be, there was a left and a right. And then the cushion on the bottom actually said front on it. And then on each of the arms, it said front. One was left, one was right. And everything really tightened up great. They had Loctite on everything. I was very, very, very impressed. I got another one coming, but somehow it got lost on the boat from Kentucky over there in California. Sent it from there to Phoenix, and then from Phoenix to here. So somehow it got lost going to Phoenix. And so it's not going to be here till tomorrow. So we have to have somebody else take that off the porch. Because this thing weighs like, I don't know, 40 or 50 pounds.
What,
but it looks like a pretty nice, yeah. It looks like
I don't know what he's saying.
Who?
I don't know. Dennis. He says, "Hey, YouTube, please forgive me, but I think Tam's glasses are laying on the lenses. It's those little things." Laugh out loud.
Maybe you're not clear. Maybe the picture's not clear for him. I went the camera off before we started. I don't know. Mine looks pretty clear.
I don't know.
They're reading glasses, so they would really look weird.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good to me. I don't know. Looks fine to me.
I don't know.
I don't know. We got a bad connection. We got great internet here. We got over 100 going up. We got fiber. Is it fiber optics? Is that what we have?
Yes.
Yeah, fiber optic here in the house. Saves a little bit of money. So we got that there. Plus, so that way we don't have as much trouble sending it up and down.
That looks okay too.
Looks good to me. Don't know. So she wanted to get down. She's tired of sitting up high. So we bought those $300 stools, and there they sit in the corner. And so we lowered the table back down, and we got the chairs. Mine's a little lower here. This is my editing chair for at home. It's in rough shape. It's falling apart.
Seen this in better days. You should have ordered 3 of these chairs, but her telling me the third one wouldn't show up. You can get rid of your cardinal chair. It's got a cardinal, on its headrest. I didn't know that flipped up.
Maybe I'll just take that off. That's the only thing that's good yet on it. The rest of it, whole bottom's it's just peeling off. This one actually looks kind of like it's leather or something. It looks like a little better. It's got a little pillow and a little back support on it. So, but yeah, it was 60 something bucks, and that was included shipping and everything. And about 2 weeks to get here.
On the table with you.
And so my chair will be tomorrow. And it took me, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes probably to put it together. It wasn't that bad. It was a little harder getting it out of the box and uncovering everything. Everything was in plastic and tape and everything. Kind of a pain in the ass. So put all that together. So I got to do the other one. And but yeah, normally a lot of times you get that junk like that, because I've never really ordered stuff from. We used to do, what was that other Chinese company? Wish. I bought some stuff from them, and this Temu thing always gives you these little deals that we'll give you free shipping if you buy this.
Just don't download the app.
Which I do with the app. I don't have any trouble with it.
I don't know.
And so a couple other people I've talked to said, I buy this, and they got motorcycle parts on there and stuff, and I didn't buy any motorcycle stuff. But let's try these chairs and see what they have to say. You can send them back. I don't know if they charge you freight or not, but well, see, $60 because we've been looking at some nice chairs like this. This is a gamer chair that they're mostly like $200-$300.
And they had one on sale at Walmart when we just went up there today, but it was a white chair and it was $129 or something like that. I don't know. I saw it when we walked by, but we got two for that price. But I don't know. We ordered them both together. I don't know why one came and one didn't.
See, mine doesn't have a backrest on. Mine doesn't. Hers, the back reclines, where this one doesn't. This one just goes up and down with the cylinder shot on this one, so it's all the way down at the bottom. That's why I had to sit here. She sat here and she was way down here. I said, you sit in the new chair and I'll sit in my old chair. So we got new chairs. Put the counter down, look more like everybody else does, with the countertop and things like this. And
here's what I meant. Thank you.
She wanted to see her little table we bought,
but you can't see my one thing.
She got a picture on there.
Oh, you got. That's the David Mann thing, but mine, this one.
Thank you for all those we love.
Amen. Can you see it? I don't know. There, you got to see it like that.
Yeah, they can't really see it. It's too far
You can
back.
see it now.
Yeah, but you can just see the sign. Probably can't read it.
Oh, we need to get a little. See, I don't know. I wanted to decorate it all up, but we were all sitting way up here, and you never could see the little table back there. So now I got to get
light on it. I got a yellow light on
that side.
This side is yellow, and this side's white. And just kind of light up the background a little bit. And it's a little different. You can get some color and stuff too. We bought a color stick a while back, and it don't work with crap.
It goes like 3 inches.
Yeah, it's kind of a waste of money. But it's something I bought on Black Friday, and we were on the road. By the time I come home, it's past the time you can send it back to Amazon. So I was kind of screwed with it. So it's sitting over there. We've used it a couple times, but it doesn't really do anything. So that's kind of what on the deal with that. So next week, I don't know what all other videos we'll get out. We're trying to get a hold of Jeff from the Cat House. Maybe have him come on. Maybe we'll do a live next week during the week before Labor Day. I don't know if he's busy or not, to see if he's got some time he can come on. Maybe Monday. Maybe we'll come on Monday night and talk a little bit about bikes, blues, and barbecue. There's some things people want to know what's going on. Right now, we haven't heard anything about the city. The city last year had a lot of concerts, and they did a lot of stuff down there.
In Eureka Springs.
Yeah.
And then Rogers did too.
Yeah. And then, the Rogers have still got their bands. So they're all set up. Most of the stuff's on the Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue website. You can go there, Eureka Springs, and you can see all the bands they got listed. Nobody famous. Actually, that same weekend, Rogers is having Alice Cooper and who was the guy that was at the Buffalo Chip last year? The headbanging guy.
Rod Zombie.
Yeah. Rod Zombie and Alice Cooper are playing that Saturday night.
Rod Zombie is the one that had the monster truck.
Yeah. But it was crazy. That's the one when the monkey went to it and ran into his dad on his golf cart.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we don't usually go to two.
Did you guys get any blown back about the wake video? No, not really.
Not really. I had a few people. I had one that was flagged, and so I just seen it today. It was from 2 days ago, and he was trying to say, "You sound like my kids. That nothing is as bad as it says it is," and da 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 da. And so I basically told him that hopefully you're right with Jesus, because he's probably going to come back soon. All this stuff. It's everybody makes this big thing about this woke stuff, and they're really, what are you going to do about it? If they fire that guy, fire him, it ain't going to make no difference. Somebody else is going to come in and do the same thing. But I mean, when I look at all this stuff, now we haven't called the union up. I know they're not going to go on camera, but I don't know if they'll tell me anything. They don't know who I am. But I don't think this has anything to do with hiring gay people. There's nothing that I see that's quotas. What I see it is how everybody's supposed to be treated fairly. So if there's a transgender that works here, we got to treat him like a guy that's not a transgender. He's just a normal guy. You can't make slurs at him. You can't look at him funny. You can't do, and I mean, that's always been that way. In California, we've had all that. We've had to deal with every nationality when we lived in California. So you always had to watch, like Tam said the other day, they had some fat people at work, and they made them all have classes on fat people, not to be mean, not call them fatty or whatever, whatever the case is. But I mean, it's all about people don't think about that. I don't think
it was not just for people you worked with. It was your patients too.
So, but I mean, you just got
clientele,
and that's problem with, it's like what Tam says, we're supposed to love everybody. We're not here to judge anybody. That's going to happen.
That's not our place to judge. That's
and
God's
so,
place.
yeah, it's going to be somebody else's. And somehow, yeah, he's making $43 million. I could have told you that the other day, that he's making CEO's making $43 million. Well, somebody approved it. They approved it paying that kind of money, but 30-something thousand is stock options. So they're not actually giving him cash. They're giving him stock, which he could sell the stock. But I don't know. These big corporations, the world has changed. And I explained that in my video. And the problem is with a lot of these people that are saying stuff about my video, the few that I had, are people that didn't watch the whole video. One guy actually said, I can only watch a minute of you. You're not very good. And it was on my personal Bob and Tam Facebook page. And I'm thinking, if I'm really that boring, what the hell are you even on my channel for? Goodbye. Don't come back. I don't care. But I mean, and so some of the things he was saying, I'm like, apparently you didn't watch the video because I talked about that in the video.
Well, just like at church last night, the pastor read something that was on the Facebook post of the church and said all this stuff against the pastor. And it's like, obviously they'd never really been in the church. They were saying what a horrible church it was and everything. It's like everything the guys rattled off.
He started off saying it was all about money. Our church is all about money. We don't have offering plates. He really doesn't ever talk about what you should give.
He never asked for money.
Our logo it's kind of a wheel with like a star wheel. It's just round, but it's got spikes. It's kind of like a gear. And in the middle is a cross. And the person said, you don't even have anything
that reflects the cross. You don't believe in the cross. You don't.
And it's like, well, apparently they never seen it. It's on the back of the church. It's on the backdrop of with the sermon. And then some of the other things that the person said, and you get that. You get people that see something or they hear something. I also get people that are just jealous. There are other YouTubers. When we first started, we had a lot of trouble in Daytona the very first year. My videos kept getting pulled. Every one of my thumbnails kept getting pulled down. And I couldn't figure out why. What was other YouTubers complaining about me? So YouTube would pull it down and then they would review it and take 48 hours to review it. Well, your video just came up. And see, I was the only one.
That's when you get your most views, usually within the first 24 hours.
And so my videos, I was the only one originally putting videos out every single day or even during the rally. Most people put it out after the event. You could see Prime Cut Pro and a lot of these other ones, they'd be doing their videos afterwards. Well, once we started doing this before, now everybody's putting videos out during the rally. And some of them are getting a lot more views than us, which I don't really want to go back to that. I'm putting girls on our thumbnail. Now we might have to do it on some of these small rallies. But I mean, I wanted people to come to see what's going on, not just watch a bunch of bikes riding up and down Main Street. Like this one guy got 200 and something thousand views. He's not a very big YouTuber. And I kind of looked at some of his videos, spin through it. And I'm like, first of all, the guy never talks. So you don't really know what he's doing, where he's going, where he's at. Just a lot of bikes driving by. And, to me, it was kind of boring. I don't know. I see a lot of guys do that. A lot of guys walk up down Main Street. We do a one or two times in a video. Out of all the videos, we'll show you walking down Main Street because you want to see what it looks like, what's going on, what's happening. But I'm not going to hang down there for 5 days and just film nothing but Main Street going up and down. I just think that's kind of boring.
There's a lot more to do other than Main Street and Sturgis.
So that's why, and any of them, Daytona, all these rallies, there's a lot more stuff to do. Now, Leesburg's one that doesn't have a whole lot of stuff to do. So, kind of, we do our live on Main Street in Leesburg. But I mean, it's only 3 days too, so it doesn't last that long. So you're not down there. I guess we spend 2 days down there on Main Street. And then Gator Harley's got all the vendors there. And that's about it other than the campground. So there isn't a whole lot of things to film in some of these events. So I don't know. So, but yeah, I don't care. I knew when I put the video up at first, I kind of thought about that night thinking about maybe I'd take it down, but I've gotten more people that said, thank you for putting it out. I had way more people that just said, I loved your video. I'm really glad you put it out and kind of let us talk about it because some of these other videos, that's why I tried to say my experience. I was union president. I've been involved with unions. They wouldn't allow a lot of the stuff that these people are saying is going on and forcing people to read books and forcing them to do this and forcing them to do that. That's what a union's there for. A weak union, no, but a strong union. And those are bigger unions that are on the property there. So they're not just like here. We're hearing that nobody's going to get laid off from these people going to Thailand, sending all the bikes over there to get built. Nobody's going to get laid off. Well, actually, they're going to spend $10 million on the plant to start putting more baggers and more tri-glides out, which is what we want. That's what most Americans are buying.
Yep. That's what somebody else earlier said that too. Tim had said that did you realize that they're putting more money back in it? Neil said he fell asleep and he's back. Who's going to come up to go moose hunting?
Not us.
No.
I need to go to Alaska someday, but not interested.
I'll be praying you find a moose.
Yeah, he's got.
He said he found moose tracks earlier today. He went out today. So how much is that? Just a week long?
Moose season.
Yeah, I don't know how long that is. I know last year he didn't really get a moose either. You two should dress up like Bill and Ted. I always get them mixed up with Wayne's World. Sweet.
I lost my jug.
Well, you're the one that was using it. Were they not Bill and Ted? Wayne's World. Who was on Wayne's World? Wayne and
Garth.
So I don't know why I get those two mixed up. I guess did they both come out around the same time?
They both were on Saturday Night Live.
Wayne's World, Wayne's World. That was on Saturday Night Live. I don't think Bill and Ted was.
Well, I never realized that Bill and Ted, that's the guy from, what's that movie?
It's Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
It's,
I had no idea that was
John Wick.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was him. And I'm like, wow, that is really.
He went from one extreme to the other.
Yeah, what a difference an actor can play. Because a lot of times when an actor does something, they're kind of
stereotyped.
Yeah, it's kind of like Clint Eastwood and stuff. A lot of times when you get an actor that does a certain style all the time, you want to see him in that kind of style. And so then they can't break it. That's why a lot of people that are on TV shows for a long time, they can't ever get out and get another career because they're still looked at like the Brady Bunch or whatever. They look like that people.
My cousin says she knows Mike Looking Glass. They were with him this weekend. She said, AKA Bobby from Brady Bunch. And I'm like, what? She says, yeah. Dana, the one that he's up from Salt Lake City. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. I've had many winners, kills where there aren't any left. Oh, he says he gets to hunt till September 25th.
Okay.
So you still got a good month. That's good. Your odds are with you. Get out there early. You got to be the first one out to shoot it. R. Wilmer says the dealers are not union. I think it's more saying that you're not just going to sell bikes not built in the USA.
So dealers have nothing to do with the corporation. So the rules that the corporation's coming out, like all this woke stuff that they're saying is going on, the dealerships have nothing to do with that. They do not tell the dealers, which we found that out. There's no franchise fees. They pay no fees. Once they bought their dealership, they paid for their fee up front, and then them buying the products is all they have to give to corporation. So they're not paying any fees to them. Corporate does not tell them how to hire people, who to hire, and why to hire them. So the dealers are all totally innocent of all of this. Now, they could go back and say, well, we want to do what the corporation's doing. Well, that would be the dealers, the owners that owns the dealer. That would be their choice. But pretty much all these vendors, these dealerships around the United States are kind of in the same boat. Well, most of them really don't like the CEO either. But they have no control over it. They can't say you need to fire the guy. Once again, it's back to the board of directors. Those are the people that hired him. Nobody else in the company, nobody of the dealers, nobody else found him. The board of directors hired him. Now, some people said that Vanguard and the other one, they're a bunch of crooks and all this stuff.
Partnership.
I don't know, and I don't care. That's what the one guy said today was a video from a couple days ago, comment that got flagged. I don't know why it really was flagged, but that certain, because somebody else complained on my channel that he wanted to write the F word on my comments. Well, we've had so many spammers when we first started this. We took out, you couldn't say porn, you couldn't say any kind of sexual words, you couldn't say anything because
there's a whole list of like 50 words
that I put on there. That if you hit any of those words, it will not allow you to put on our thing. If you say website, that'll flag you too. It gets put in another file that nobody sees until I okay it. And I look at that about once a week or something. I don't look at it every day. And so this guy came in 2 days ago and he wrote all this stuff. And so I kind of look at it and he kind of is making it sound like I'm sugarcoating everything, making it sound like everything's just grand and there's no problems with anything. First of all, dumbass, you're not even there. Do you work there? Do you know that that's what they're doing? You're pulling this stuff out of your butt and you're thinking, oh, this is what they're doing. They're hiring all these transsexuals that nobody can get a job. And this transsexual doesn't know how to do their job, but they're putting them in that anyway. How the hell do you know? I don't know. They don't know. All the dealers I talk to, they don't know. So how do you know? Oh, some irate customer or vendor, employee that used to work there. Prove that he worked there. I could say I worked for Harley Davidson. I worked at corporate. I worked at the York plant all the time. Why can't I? Nobody's saying prove it. Because like this Robbie, he's not putting any of his people that he's talking to. There's no evidence there. So they just keep showing you that they're showing you clips over and over, the same clips over and over. Yeah, this guy's German. He's got a stupid thing. He says a lot of stupid stuff. He's all about the Green Deal. He's all about, and everybody thinks because it's globalist, it's globalist. Well, that's why we looked up the meanings of all this stuff. And today I did that. I looked up and said, can a transgender get a job over anybody else because of DEI? And they all said the same thing. DEI is there to make sure everybody gets along. We all play in the sandbox together. And that's what it is. And I don't, which I explained that before. I lost jobs back in the late 70s because I wasn't black. Now that was discrimination, but I didn't hear anybody getting on the high horse there saying they were all woke back then.
As I said, that's what Ryder Egg says. He said that he thinks that's one of our best videos we've ever produced. It was all factual. So we wanted to just give you, because that's what got him so upset, was because some of the stuff the other channels were saying it was a grain of truth in it, but they twisted it all around to fit their whatever they were trying to say. We wanted to just tell you what some of the words meant, some of the terminology, because some of it, it's like you have no idea what it means.
Well, we didn't know either. That's why I said I did a bunch of different searches. It just wasn't on Google. We used a couple different other searches to see what the meanings of these words were. Well, they all pretty much went with the Google. So that's the ones that I put on the screen and said, here's what it is. And it's, why does Robbie go back to 2020 to read the stockholders report instead of reading 2022, which is the current one? Because he probably found something that he thought was better to stick in the video to kind of edge it. And everybody's clicking on it now. Everybody's doing, everybody that's in the motorcycle community is jumping on the bandwagon with all this. And like I say, we did a video just because the idea was I've worked in the union and I know a lot of that would not happen. And I can't believe that out of 6,300 employees, that 4,000 of them are transsexuals that don't know how they're doing the job. Well, if that's the case, actually, we walked through the plant in Milwaukee, just roughly looking at everybody. I didn't see any transgenders, and I don't think I seen anybody that was gay.
There wasn't a whole lot of people in there working to start with.
20 or 30
mostly people. Robotic stuff, which I was kind of disappointed in.
But I mean, the few people we talked to there were just like you and me. They were just regular old Americans, and none of them looked gay, and none of them looked like transsexuals. So, anyway, like I say,
John wants to know, he's going to get a ATC model 2816. How do you like your toy hauler, and has it been a solid unit?
Yes, we've had it since 2019. We bought it in Sturgis that year in August, so we've had it ever since then. Really like the decals aren't going to last. That's most decals don't last long anyway. But decals, that's probably the biggest complaint about it is decals don't last on it. But I mean, we've never really had any real trouble with the trailer other than tires.
The stupid lock, but that doesn't have anything to do with ATT.
That wasn't theirs.
No,
yeah, we got an RV lock.
It's great when it works.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
They keep sending me parts.
And they
keep. Well, the last time they sent me a whole new lock, but this time they sent me parts twice now, and I'm going to sit down at home and take all these circuit boards and redo them all, and what a pain in the ass. And but that had nothing to do with it. That didn't come with the ATC. Now the things that we have on ours that you want to buy, no matter what, you want dual air, you want a generator, you want an ON generator, you want a fuel system on board to where you can fill up your bikes or ATVs, anything you got, golf cart. I put ethanol gas all the time in my generator. I don't run anything other than ethanol. I put some stabilizer in during the winter. Does real good. I'm thinking of this. Oh, I would have liked to have had a spigot outside, a faucet. That was one of the things. We didn't buy a brand new one. It was 1 year old when we bought it. And I wished I would have done that. Probably one other thing I had to do is after you open and close the gate a lot in the back, the handles start to bend a little bit. So ended up, I was talking to somebody and I found a guy, actually my brother-in-law had a guy down the street where he lived at in Illinois, and he bent it back a little bit. So now it's really tight to put them on. But because I was going to change the weather stripping. So we did that. That's that. I mean, I don't really have any real complaints. I've had a little trouble with the outlet on the outside of the trailer. Every time it rained, our GFI wouldn't work. Any of the plugs inside it were GFI. Well, I end up running a bead of caulking all the way around it, and that stopped. We had a little leak one time in one of the marker lights, and I just popped that off, put some silicone around it, put the cover back on, and that stopped. Nice thing about it, because it's aluminum, a little bit of water was no big deal.
And the windows or the fans now, they're stuck for some reason.
I think they're really dirty. I think they need to be cleaned. So we took the fans that had the lids, and I put the other tops over them, whatever they're called. So when you drive down the road, you can leave them open. And they're starting to stick now. And I think there might be some tree sap or something in there. I need to pull the covers off and clean them all up and see, because if we have to poke the broom or something up there to get the lid to pop. So
Ryder X wanted to know if you saw the video of the Indian dealership salesman that he put out. They're saying that the Harleys that they're trading in.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I don't buy anything that guy said. I seen that video, and if I'm almost tempted to call Indian and say he put that video out, because
I was going to say we could call one of the Indian dealers. We could call Lauren and ask her.
Never call the corporate, because I bet you the guy would have to take that video down. He's full of crap. And that's like I said, if you want to sell your motorcycle and you want to give a hell of a good deal and you want to sell it below Blue Book value, below wholesale, I might be interested in buying your bike, your woke bike.
Just for our vets. So R. Wilmer says he's 40-year-old plus diet and endo rooter, looking to get my first street bike. So I guess he does off-road. Any suggestions? Thinking of an older street glide to start.
Yeah, but the only thing you got to look at with the older one, you don't really want to get older than 2014. Why? Because if you want to take it to a dealer, most dealers will not work on anything older than a 2014. But yeah, my first bike that I just bought a classic that had all the bags on it. Just had the crash bar, had no louvers in the front. There was other features it didn't have. And that was good. I had that bike for a couple of years. Then I moved up to a regular Ultra that had all the more things. Then I moved up to CVO. It's got everything on it. So yeah, I would get something. Try to find something with low miles. Definitely have somebody check out your bike. You also have to worry about something that has really low miles. Something that's got, somebody's just been sitting in the garage. It can cause more trouble. Tires could go bad. All the different things. I got to get.
Mine's a 2015, so it's almost 10 years old, and it only had 1,500 miles on it, which is good and bad, like you said. I don't know.
And it depends on how often, and that's what's bad. It sometimes can happen to something with low miles. Too low.
Did you fall asleep?
What, Neil?
Jeff.
Oh.
He was on earlier. Him and Janice were talking. Now he's like, "Oh, sorry, I got lost."
Got lost going to the bathroom.
Probably got lost going to 7-Eleven.
So. Yeah, I would start out with like maybe a classic, something that wouldn't be too expensive. Look around and don't buy the first thing you see. It's kind of like us. I probably
do your homework.
My first Harley, we probably looked for 5 years.
I was gonna say 5 years.
That we went into all these hard deals. I looked around and just either they were wasn't the price I wanted to pay, or didn't have had too high of miles or whatever, and just kind of look around. And then once you find something, you're like, okay, that's pretty interesting. Let's take it out for a ride. And you want somebody. If you're not, you rode dirt bikes, so you've got some experience about motors and stuff, motorcycles, so you got kind of an idea. But you definitely want somebody that's going to let you. If it's a used bike, they got to let you ride it. Take it out and drive it a little bit. New bikes, I can understand they don't want to put a bunch of miles on a new bike, but I mean, that's why the demo trucks come out, so you can try to demo a bike. If it's a new bike, it should all ride exactly the same.
Well, he said he wanted to get a used.
That's why I said a used one. So I'd look around. If
he said 5 years, he might have missed his window. He's been looking for a long time too, I guess.
And just got to do some shopping. Once in a while you find something on Craigslist or on Marketplace. That somebody wrote a video the other day and said they got the best deal ever off of Marketplace for a bike. But I mean, you got to know what you're kind of looking at too.
Well, they say to look for deals like where there's a divorce and then she got the motorcycle in the divorce and she don't ride a bike. So you want deals like that because she just wants to say, ha, I only got $500 for your bike. just to
It is.
tick him off.
And I've been looking now, and I don't see anybody woke selling bikes, selling a 2019 for $1,000 to get rid of it because they don't want their woke bike. All the bikes I'm still seeing on everywhere is still getting good price for it. They're not giving them away. But like in my case, I bought, I guess all the bikes I bought, these Harleys, I've all gotten from a dealership. I didn't buy anything from off the street. So kind of like when you, like my first one, my second one, I guess. They had just lowered the price like $3,000 a day when we had walked in.
Your first one.
Oh yeah, I guess it's the first Harley I got. So they had just lowered the price, and they only had like 12,000 miles on it. So I was like, well, that's not bad. That's, you want to get something to where you want something to where you're not upside down when you walk out the door.
So he said his problem is he's in a rural area in the mountains of Virginia. Ask Ryder X. He's not in the rural area.
But I mean, you just have to go, and the idea is go through like Craigslist and a lot of things, start looking roundabout areas, look farther out and see what they have. If you've got something worth driving over to see. But I mean, if you live in a rural area, you're not going to find anything probably in a rural area. You're going to have to go into a city or maybe take a weekend and take a trip into a big city someplace and go motorcycle looking around. We did it like when we go to Vegas, we would look for bikes, or anytime that I went by a Harley dealer, we'd stop in and look around at what they had. And that's kind of how we ended up with the bikes that we have. No three of, well, I guess the second one, we were kind of looking, because I wanted a newer bike, but I wanted a bike that was about a year old with like 12,000 miles on it. I wanted like a demo bike or a rental bike. And so that's what happened is the dealer we had, one of the girls we knew called us up and said, hey, we just got 10 of them in. They all got right around 12,000 miles. They're all 09s. What year did I buy it in?
10 for your 50th birthday.
Yeah. So I was 1 year old, and
he bought it on his birthday.
And so I was like, okay. And then I said, well, I want blue or orange? No, that wasn't on that one. It was a blue one anyway. And so they got the color I wanted, and it was pretty much everything that I wanted on it. It had low miles on it. I'm like, I'll take it. And so that's what we had. So
the funny thing is, when we traded that one in, somebody in our hog group bought his old bike like right away.
Well, because I always kept, most of my stuff has always stayed in good shape. I don't normally beat the hell out of stuff. When I turn something in, it's still got some life to it. And so, I mean, you just got to kind of look around. And just like with her, when we seen that Sportster at Black Hills Harley, we walked by and I'm like, oh, let me look at the, oh, hell, it's only got 15,000 miles on it. I wonder what they want for this. Well, I had the price on it. It said $10,000.
$1,500.
It said $10,995 what they were asking for it. So we kind of said something. It was inside when we first looked at it. And so she sat on it and said, oh, yeah, it doesn't feel too bad. It feels pretty comfortable. And so we said something to a salesman there, and he said, well, let's go sit down and talk about it. I said, we don't even have the bike here. Let's talk anyway. No, I'm not talking to you. Well, what do you want?
You don't want the bike, do you?
And I said, I'll give you that bike and $3,000 different. Well, we're going to have to sit down and talk about it. No, because the bike's not even here. So there's no point in talking about it. And that's the other thing you want to look at. If you're looking at a used bike, you want to go to the NADA book or Blue Book or something like that and see what the price of that bike is. That bike is not worth any more no matter what they put on it, because Harley don't give you any more for it. So if you're at a Harley dealer and it's got all this chrome and all this stuff on it, you do the same thing that Harley does to you if you're trading it in. You pull it up and see what retail price is on it. Retail and wholesale, and somewhere in the middle is where you should be on a decent bike. And that's a good way to get an idea of what, and sometimes I do that. You can't always look at eBay, and some moron can be asking $50,000 for a bike, and you go, well, my bike's worth $50,000 because the guy on eBay's got it for $50,000. It's still there, ain't it? So what I do with those is you go in there like on eBay, or eBay's the only one who would do it. You can hit watch. And what they do, as soon as it sells, it tells you it's sold, and you can go see exactly what it's sold for. So I used to do that a lot when I was buying stuff. I don't buy that much off of eBay anymore. But it was a good way to kind of see what things are selling for, and if you're looking for something particular, a certain
because if you ever look at stuff and they'll say, well, I saw it listed on eBay for this price, so it's got to be like you're trying to get some antique, and it's like, I guess the Pawn Stars always do that. That's what somebody's asking for it. That's not what somebody bought it for. So you got to look and see what that difference
sells for. What was paying dollar for. So it's like here, I would have never thought Black Hills Harley would have sold 628 bikes while they were there this year. I thought with the economy, interest is a little higher. I paid a little higher interest on the loan here to get everything paid off that we had borrowed on here and stuff. And I'm paying a little higher than what I would have liked to have paid. And a little truck, I guess I'm probably paying a little more than that too, than what I really wanted to pay. But got to have what you got to have. And that's what people say. Well, maybe the economy's not so bad if people are buying that many motorcycles. Well, you don't know what the incidence is on each person. You don't know how many of those people bought bikes that might end up getting repoed. And you don't know how many people pay cash for the bike like we did. We paid cash for her bike. And
that's our brother-in-law said that too. He said he wished he would have brought his brother's 2002 Sportster and kept in the family. Well, my Street Glide, his sister's husband, our brother-in-law, that's what he says. Man, I should have bought that bike when you offered it to me, because now he wishes he had it and he doesn't, because I done sold it.
We were just selling it for what we owed on it. We owed 15 grand on it, and that's what we were just going to let it go, and it sold for that. And but that was 2014, and we sold that. I don't know.
It had a lot of stuff on it too.
Yeah, it had low miles.
Shenandoah, Hartley, they have closed. Now I go to either Hampton Roads or Steel Horse. Somebody asked about a dealership that had to close in Maryland earlier, and you were talking. He says thanks, but Harley has been making some of the smaller dealerships do things like they either have to revamp everything, move it closer to a highway, or into where there's more populated at a more populated area. They say they want uniformity. They want all the stores to kind of look the same.
Well, clothing is what they really want. They're not making that much money on motorcycles. Their big money is on clothing. You wouldn't believe how much they're making on the clothing. Corporation, wow. The dealership does pretty good on the clothing too, but they're buying it and stocking it and all that. So they got a little bit more, but buying this crap over in China. There was a YouTuber on the other day talking about I like the shirts and stuff. They just got done talking about Harley being all woke and all this. The next thing you know, they're talking about how great all the clothing is in the Harley dealer. Well, it's all Chinese. Everything there is cheap. Unless you get to a dealer, there's a few. So with the dealership, based on your volume that you sell, you're allowed to sell so much aftermarket products. So like one dealership we went to actually had American-made shirts. They had made up the Harley ones. They had the logos and all that on it because they own the rights. And it was actually $5 cheaper to buy the American-made one than it was to buy the Chinese one. So I bought the American-made one. And
Lone Star Ventures said Junction City in Kansas had to close last fall.
And a lot of them, they're doing that. What they're doing with some of these vent dealers, and a lot of people say that, well, that dealer was a great dealer. They sold a lot of stuff. Do you actually know what their numbers are? And sometimes that's what you look at. Some of these dealers sell one bike a year or one bike a month. That's not doing much for Harley. They got to bring a truck out here and drop one bike off. It's because Harley pays for the freight. No matter what they tell you, Harley pays. There was a lawsuit years ago. We actually got $300 back from that. Harley reimburses the dealers for the freight once they sell the bike. So that's why they can't charge you freight. That's why they charge it setup fee. That's what they call it. But I forgot where I was going.
I don't know, but you only got a couple minutes left. So
couple minutes left.
Wrap it up.
We got more questions coming up. I see popping up there.
You just said nice name. Jeff Henson told Jeff Hopper he had a nice name.
So it was about dealers closing up. So that's one of the things. If they're not doing much of a volume, also if the store has gotten to where it's not up to date, you got to update your store. It's like any business. Every business needs to do a facelift once in a while. Do something to the inside, just like Walmart and all these other stores. They move all that crap around every 6 months.
No, Walmart puts tile down in their brand new stores. We just had one that opened up here. It hadn't been a year. And what do? They scraped up all the tile, and now it's concrete floor.
Looks like a warehouse, like Sam's.
Then why did they put it down to start with?
Because they thought they had an idea, and probably the CEO changed his mind. But I mean, I'm not far. I don't know any dealer that we've dealt with that lost their store. We've had a few dealers that we've known that had secondary stores that they closed.
Well, did the one in Washington, D.C., did they ever close or move?
Still, when I asked Ryder X, he said it was still open. They ain't done nothing to it.
I don't know. They had like 5 years that they had to
No, they had a year. They had to do it by the next year after we were there.
$40 for a $5 t-shirt, I know. That's why I always go to the sales rack. I don't mind paying. If it's under $20, I don't mind paying that for a shirt, because pretty much any shirt you buy, it's going to be right around $20. And his mom used to get so mad. She's like, what are they paying you to wear that shirt? And he's like, no, I had to pay.
Well, I did it with our daughter with Abercrombie.
Yes. And, it's like he had to pay a fortune for those clothes. And she's like, you're advertising for them. They should be paying you to wear those shirts. But we're all screwed up here in America, aren't we?
Well, it gets to be that you're proud of the brand. That's kind of that's see, a lot of these guys aren't that old. And so when you see these young guys, 30 years old, they're even 40 years old, and they're all complaining about this woke stuff. They weren't even around. They didn't even own Harley when it was back all 100% made in America and all this. And they everything, you know, that's all gone. And people just like here, Ford Motor Company used to make all their cars right here in the United States. Chevrolet used to make them. Chrysler used to make them. That's all gone now.
And he wants to know if he can post a fundraiser in the Virginia area. Neil wants to know, not Ryder X. That's kind of weird.
Depends on what you have to send me the link in an email or a post. Let me look at it.
Send it to him in Messenger. If it's for, I don't know.
I don't normally do GoFundMe pages or anything like that, just for the fact that you really don't know where the money's going.
It's a fundraiser.
But I mean, if it's because my Sturgis page has got to be Sturgis. If it's not Sturgis related, because I even put the woke video up there for about 3 or 4 days, and I took it down because it really hasn't got anything to do with Sturgis, and it has nothing to do with really got nothing to do with anything. But like I say, it's some of the dealers, you know, and sometimes you need to weed out.
From the Badgers.
What?
It's from the Badgers.
Which probably is it the one we already put up?
I don't think so.
Well, send me the link and let me look at it.
It's probably the one. Is that the one where the wife got hurt on the motorcycle on the 79? It might be that one.
No, that's almost too late for that one.
That's why they call the plants assembly plants.
That's right.
Parts shipped in from a container.
No.
Sorry.
And it's
2 hours.
Heck, when I was 16 years old, I worked in a factory, a Singer. They used to make air conditioners, and it got bought out by Westinghouse or something. But I mean, same thing. We made the metal that went on the outside of the air conditioner. Made big, giant commercial units too. Didn't make window units or nothing. And I worked there during the summer, and there's a lot of parts, that electronic parts and stuff like that came in from somewhere else. I don't know where the hell it came from, but there was only a handful of stuff. We made all the metal parts. They had to break in there. They bent them and all that, and then they painted them and all that, and then installed that. But you built all the rest of the unit with stuff that was already they didn't
shipped
make.
In.
Yeah, it was like this. It came in a container. Well, nowadays almost everything, like I say, this is back in 76. So back then, a lot of things pretty much was made here in America, and now there really isn't anything made in America. And when people just, you all screwed up a long time ago with all this stuff. And people should have thought about this a long time ago when they started shipping all these companies overseas. That's when everybody should have stopped. Should have said right then, we're not buying any more of your products. Screw you. We'll start walking or ride a bicycle.
Well, somebody told me like back when like VHS tapes and when right after the televisions were made, I guess when all that technology started, for some reason, I guess it was like Westinghouse or whoever was big back then, GE. They said, you know, we're done. We've got the television. We don't want to do no more technology stuff. And so they shipped it all off to China and Korea and Taiwan and Thailand.
Looks like
and
Maytag.
Said, go ahead.
Maytag used to be made right here in America. Last time I heard it was in Mexico. I don't know if it's gone any further than that, but you don't see the Maytag commercials no more.
The Maytag man?
Because they're not even owned by Maytag anymore. Somebody else owns the company now and just uses the name. But it's
when we lost our glass soda bottles. Remember when you used to get a nickel for every soda bottle you turned in so you could go buy candy?
But I mean, it's just the world has just gotten really bad. And for everybody just to get on the bandwagon now about stuff, it's like I told this guy that I was just talking about the comment. He wrote me a big long thing saying that I was more like his kids trying to say everything's okay and don't worry about this and all that. And it's like, what are you complaining about? What are you going to, like, there was a guy the other day on my Facebook page, and he's actually from Mesa, Arizona. And he wrote all this stuff down, and you don't know what you're talking about. This is all woke, blah, 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 blah. And he's the one that said he only watched 1 minute of my channel. And so I started writing him, and I said, well, apparently you must be white, male. You must be a conservative, and you must be a Christian. And he wrote back and said, yeah, and I'm tired of being stepped on all the time. So I said, apparently you vote in every election that ever comes up since you've been 18 years old. And 2, you're very involved in politics. You're involved with all the stuff that's going on in your community and your city, and you're dealing with the schools. You know, these kids, usually woke is going on in these grade schools and high schools. That's where it's really bad at. If you knew what these kids are being taught I wouldn't even send my kids to school anymore. So then the next thing I said is, you must be a Christian because you must be volunteering for the church and you're out there spreading the word about Jesus. Well, then he ended up deleting what he had said. He only left his original post because I had a few other people came on and said, you know, I was right and all that. And I'm like, I don't need anybody
That's
to
why
say.
I said it's all over, and it's deep, and you just have to check out any company. If you really don't want to deal with any of that, then you need to check almost anything you purchase. Anything. It's
because even the farmer out here that's got the farmer's market is probably buying pesticides from the company that is woke, that's got DEI. So are you going to eat the vegetables that they're selling down at the farmer's market because they used a spray that's from a company that's DEI? It's just one big giant circle. Big circle.
Well, they call it in Lion King, circle of life.
And that's why I said, show me where I want to talk to somebody from these factories that will come and tell me, swear under oath, that they're hiring transgenders over anybody that has a skill level. I want to know. Give me some of those proofs. Everybody's saying they're doing it, but I ain't seeing any. What?
Jeff says, give Kid Rock a gun.
So it's like, I don't know. I'm just saying that, you know, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen out there, that there could be a company. They can go up to West Hollywood in California, and yeah, it pretty much goes on there. Everybody in all those stores are pretty much gay or transsexual because it's known as the gayest part in the United States.
Well, no.
Palm Desert.
No, San Francisco.
West Hollywood's worse. So yeah.
What I don't understand is why America aren't attacking other Americans because of his or her beliefs. I know. It's I don't know why. I don't know where we went wrong either. Jeff said it's because of the stupid beer. No, because at once upon a time we could all sit down and talk, and you could have a different opinion than us, and it didn't matter. You know, you have your right to do your opinion, and we have our right to our opinion. And
see, Bud Light never was going to have a commercial with that person. Now, somebody talked about that the other day, that where did this person go? Nobody hears anything more about him. No, because it was all about woke, and that's what it was all about. Bud Light giving thousands of those cans away to different people around the world. Probably wasn't a good choice to send it to that person. Probably not. But they made that decision, and they went with it. But they never hired that person to do TV ads for Bud Light. Never happened. But all these people say, oh, they had this whole big campaign all set up. Where? I've never seen any of the videos. I've searched for them when everybody was saying it. But see, people just think, they just assume everything. Oh, well, somebody else said the same thing the other day. What are you holding in your hand? Are you watching this on your phone? How corrupt do you think these companies are? You got an iPhone? That's one of the worst companies.
Well, I didn't know this. We were looking for a screen because I've got a glass screen on top of my phone. Everything's for an iPhone. You couldn't find anything for a Samsung. We went today to find a phone charger to put in the little truck so I could charge the phones while we're driving. Everything was iPhone. They had one.
Yeah, and it was all locked up. The only one, everything else is the
iPhones all were all open. Yeah, and I'm like, what is going on? I mean, it's like, I don't know.
This is Walmart.
Yeah, and well, where was the other store we went to? Was it Walmart that we were looking for the glass case too?
No, that was Target.
And it's like everything was iPhone.
They were killing time because she had to get your hair stuff.
Oh, no, it's my teeth stuff.
Oh, so she wanted, it didn't open until 10. So it's like 9:30. And so we went over and killed time in this one store. And I'm like, let's go into Target. Well, she had to go to the bathroom too. So Target's got pretty good bathrooms. We're not big Target shoppers. They took all their gay stuff down and all that. But I mean, that's what she always says. When did the rainbow become gay?
Yeah. Oh, when my grandma found out about that, she flipped. And let me tell you, my grandma, she didn't cuss, but she had quite a few words to say about different things. I remember, I can't talk about it, where they're from. I went out of my, no, she was from Venice, Illinois. It was talking about East St. Louis and everybody killing each other.
Yeah. Well, all the big cities that's happening in.
Wow.
But I mean, it's I don't know. When you watch, sometimes I just go on, especially on Facebook, and I read all these comments that people write, and there's really more people that are like, "What are all you guys so worked up about this? If you don't like it, then don't buy the bike, or sell the bike you got." But
and move on.
Yeah,
let's move on.
We don't need to hear about it. So and then the guy that shot up his bike and the ones that blow it up, it's all clickbait. They probably didn't even ride that bike. Go back and see if they had a video of them riding that bike. Probably some old derelict bike they bought at the auction and decided, well, it don't run anyway. I only paid $1,000 for it. I'll get that out of views because I'll get out here with this Gatling gun and blow the hell out of it, and everybody will get excited. And the other guy shot it with a cannon. And it's like, first of all, they've got all this military cannon, and it was like I don't know what kind of machine gun it was, but it's something that a normal guy don't have. And if you were in California, you'd be in prison for it. But but I'm like, they're more into guns and shooting than they probably are riding motorcycles. And it's like this.
I just want to ride.
This guy, Robbie, he probably don't even have a motorcycle. He probably never even rode a motorcycle in his life. Hopefully he's got a car. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, there's another guy now keeps coming on. They both come on at the same time. They got all these things that look like it's a news channel or something like this. And it's like, it's the same old crappy. Every day they're talking about the same, oh, look what we found today. And then I Google and I'm like, that's been out for
Stephen
a month.
Duncan said they're so worried about everything, they'll never buy anything again. Pretty much.
Well, then they keep, what it is, it's all about clickbait. You look at these guys. Now, my video didn't go viral. Jerry. But I wasn't talking bad enough probably about them. And
because we were just trying to tell you the facts and let you make your own mind up.
And that's what I said. I wasn't telling you that it, that's what somebody else said. Where did the stupid woke word come from in the first place? Who came up with this? Who pulled this out of their butt and said, okay, this is the word we're going to call these companies that don't do what we want them to do? And there's gay people in the world. They've been around for a long time.
Go look at the Bible.
So, what are you going to do about it? And you can't stop somebody from hiring these people. You're trying to say these woke people are all saying that are yelling woke are saying that they're taking them over qualified people. Where? Show me somebody. Bring me somebody. I'll go fly to those people. You get me an interview with some of those people and we'll go talk to them. And I'll come back and I'll tell you I was wrong. But I can't believe a union shop would tolerate that. Because just like at the gas company where I worked, white was a minority, but it wasn't a priority hiring. We had more Latino Mexicans working at our gas company than any other nationality, but we had Russians and Asians and Germans and all kinds of people that worked there. But they didn't ask you till
I was born in East St. Louis.
Later on, once you got it hired, then they started asking you your nationality. So it used to be applications didn't have a box where you could mark you were gay or you were, what's the new word that they're using? Unidentifiable.
They don't know what the heck they are.
And it's like,
I don't think anybody knows what the definition of woke is. I know, and they just started using it. I think
I think when Bud Light started, I think that's where the word came up from when all that started.
In 1981. I was born in East St. Louis in 1960.
We're old. Older than dirt. And but yeah, it's just, I don't know where all this is going to go. We're kind of done. I'm not going to make any more videos on it. When we talked to some of the different ownerships of this, that's what they said. They actually had some of the YouTubers out there that they've watched for years. They won't watch anymore because they knew that the crap that they're putting out is false, that they're making, just like what they're saying, Harley Davidson threw a transgender party. They didn't throw no party. They rented the museum. And people can do that. You can do it. You can call tomorrow, Monday. You can call and see what it costs to rent the museum. See if you can have a party. Tell them you want to have a gay party. Tell them you want to have a straight party. Tell them you want to have a Nazi party. Whatever you want to tell them, they'll give you a price. It has nothing to do with Harley Davidson. But that they told you that they put it on. They did not put it on. See, that's why I said it's but everybody bought into it. Oh yeah, that's what they did. That's what they did. No, they didn't. Was you there? How do you know? Just because you've seen some pictures? Some of the people, I look at some of this stuff and I think, are people this stupid? Do they not have anything in life to actually do? Can you not make your life better? Can you go out there and help somebody else? Maybe there's some young kid that can't figure out what sex he is, and maybe you can have a talk with them and explain, hey, you know, you were born with this way and this is the way you ought to be, and give it a chance. You're only 12 years old. You haven't even experienced your life yet. You know, you're 20 or 30 years old, then you can make some kind of decision if you want to change your life or whatever you want to do. But I mean, I don't really know. I don't sit down and talk to a lot of gay people. I don't really know why. I think some people go gay because they're just not, life isn't going good for them. I'm a guy and I don't feel real good. You know, things just ain't going right. So I'm going to be a girl for a while and see how that works out for me. Well, it is. We know a lot of gay guys that hang around with girls because they get to hang around with them. Well, if you watch some of these movies, there's a lot of guys that pretend that so they can hang around with the girls more. You know, we're not far by gender, whatever.
Bisexual.
Bathrooms or anything like that. Because I always said the same thing. If there would have been a dude going to my daughter's grade school or high school, somebody's going to get shot. You know, that's just the way it's going to be. Because it's if you were hung one way, you're going one door, and if you're not hung that way, you're going in the other door. That's just the way life is, and I'm glad that they passed it that men can't be in women's sports. Well, that's unfair. Why would that be? If that case, why don't we just have everybody in the same sport?
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter if female, male, gay, whatever you want to be. Everybody's just in the same sport. Everybody plays. You only have men and women's basketball game together. You have all this stuff.
You should know that from grade school by getting hit in the face with a stupid dodgeball.
Yeah,
that was no fun.
But so I was going to say it's. I don't know where this country's gone, and what I always say is you know, it's when I looked it up, there's only I think it was 8% of the United States is gay or transgender. We'll say 10% because there's probably some people in the closet. But nowadays, why would you be in a closet? Because you get all these benefits if you are. So let's say it is 10%. So you then when they did that all that stuff on the Olympics, I looked it up for the nation. It was only 0.5%. So who's making all this noise for these little small groups? The old white politicians in Washington, D.C. Because they're trying to divide us all up. That's really what all this is about, is to get us all to fight among each other so they can do whatever they're doing up there. And they don't look it up. You know, it's kind of like that. What's that old thing from watch the old movies that look what they're doing over here, but look over there. Wow, we're doing all this over here. And we're just getting screwed so bad, it's ridiculous. And it's sad that people don't really see what's behind the curtain. You really got to say, what's up? What are we, you know, what are we trying to change? So we get the guy, let's say they fire the CEO of Harley Davidson. Who are they going to hire? Let's say they hire American. Let's say they end up hiring an American and they find out he's gay. Now what are you going to do? You're going to woke him again too? But now he's an American. Where does it stop? Because sometimes there's always saying about that too. Don't like if they fire somebody, you end up getting somebody that's worse.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Because you never know who the next person's going to be.
Or the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't have any answers. I give you my answers that I have. But I mean, I'm not going to run around and yell how Harley is woke and how Jack Daniels is woke. You know, that's really one of the stupidest things is Jack Daniels. You know, when when the best time for selling alcohol is when the economy and people are depressed. When the economy sucks and the people are depressed, bars, alcohol is the largest consumption in the United States because people want to drink away their problems. So, but I mean, it's just like Jack Daniels. I don't know. Most of the guys that probably drink shots of Jack Daniels really don't give a rat's ass if they're woke or what they are. I don't even know what the story is. I'm not even going to watch that one. It's made down in Tennessee, so I don't know what.
Maybe Michael Ballard will get in on it.
I don't know. But I mean, I don't know what I guess maybe they got DEI. I don't know. But I mean, it's go down there and apply at Jack Daniels. Go up to the York plant and apply. Tell them for going there first and tell them you're a straight guy and apply. Then come back next week and tell them you're a transgender. Put a wig on or something. See if they hire you. The first time they tell you no, see if they hire you the second time. That would be a good test. Let me know how that goes. Gotta have
like
somebody.
The sign song.
Oh yeah, sign everywhere.
Sign says that you can't. No don't apply if you're a long-haired hippie freak. And the guy shoved the hair up under his hat, and he went inside, and he says, "You look like a fine, understanding young man. I think you'll do." And I took off my hat. I said, "Imagine that. Huh, me working for you."
Getting down in there. But
That's
yeah,
one of my favorite songs.
that's and it is. It's I don't know. The bad thing is just like here, social media. There's so much stuff out here that is just it's clickbait. And it's like there's a guy that's been writing me, Mark, and he's been writing me a bunch of stuff and showing me stuff and sending me stuff. And he kind of talked about another YouTuber, which is riding the Ozarks. And we know that guy. Mm-hmm. And he said, watch his video. He kind of puts it really out straight. I didn't watch his video. He only really talked about Thailand. He really never, I didn't expect him to say anything because I think he does more with Harley Davidson than we ever get to do. So I'm figuring he's delegated, but he never talked anything about woke. He just talked about what they're doing. He talked about the $9 million that I already had talked about, that Harley's going to revamp the plant and they're not laying anybody off. So it's kind of a lot of the same things I said, but he was like, you need to really watch that video. Well, after I watched it, I was like, isn't that a lot? What I already said? You know, maybe he shared some fancy pictures showing bikes going down the assembly line and all that. I didn't have all that, but I don't, he didn't really say anything more than I did. So you look at some of these, Sonny Badger's another one, which I'm really kind of shocked because he did a woke video and he says, I'm not going to do any more videos on this. And every day for the last 2 weeks, he's done a video on woke. And it's like, what do you quit beating that dog with that stick? You just keep hitting it. It's dead. Let go. Bury it. It just move on. And so it's like, I don't know. I'm done with this. I just think it's stupid. Like I say, we don't like the guy. We could have told you that. We could have told you this a year ago. Well, 13 months ago, when we were up in Milwaukee for the 120th, we realized he was a butthole then. We didn't care for him. So we were not impressed at all. So we would have told you back then that he sucked. And we didn't even need to know he was woke or any of the other crap he did. We just met him personally, listened to him talk. And I'm like, no. All this guy talked about.
Not our cup of tea.
At the 120th, all he talked about was the 120th they had over in Indonesia or someplace.
Indonesia.
And when we bring a question up about the 120th in America, he went right back to Indonesia. The whole time he talked was about Indonesia. He didn't say crap about America. Well, apparently.
Every time they brought the homecoming up that was going on right then and there, he went right back to Indonesia.
Because they had it a couple months before, saying how great it was. First of all, you know how many bikes they sell in Indonesia? Not very many. When we talk to some of these foreigners about this, because we're like somebody in Germany or somebody in France or something like that, and we're like Mexico, things like that. And we're like, well, you guys rode up here on Harleys. Can you get a new Harley? No. Well, how does it work? Well, our dealer gets one a year. So it's a raffle to get that bike. Yeah, lottery to get that bike. I'm like, really? And so it's like they make all this, Harley makes all this now, possibly now with sending it over to Thailand. That's why they got that factory over there. They're selling more bikes over there because it makes it accessible. But a lot of people in these foreign countries don't have the money that Americans have. A lot of these people, these people working in this factory is probably not making 10 cents on the dollar compared to what the factory workers in York are making. So do you think they could afford to buy a $15,000 motorcycle or a $10,000 motorcycle? You watch those videos, they're riding around on scooters, a couple $100 scooters they're running around on. They're not riding. You don't see a lot of people. Not a lot of people don't have a lot of money. And so when you're living in these foreign countries, Taiwan, China, Japan, there's a handful of people like the Philippines. There's people down there that have money, but it's not like in America. Everybody here can get a freaking loan on anything. But not in those foreign countries. They're a lot stricter than what we are. Here we have all these banks and stuff where a lot of times in these foreign countries, you're buying it through the government. CEO of Harley. So I don't know. I don't see, which there's people that have motorcycles and stuff over there. But I mean, it's like somebody was talking about a Harley event over in some foreign country. And I'm like, oh, when they broke the world record before Adam down there did. And I'm like, 3,000 motorcycles in Europe. How the hell did they get 3,000 Harley Davidsons to come together. There's no way. There is no way.
It was in Greece or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Where do they get these people from? I don't buy that. That they could have came up. They probably stuck Harley emblems on the Jap bikes to make them think they had Harleys. I don't know. The guy from not Ripley's Believe It or Not. What's that called? Break the World Record.
Ripley's Believe It.
No, it's not that one. What's the one that came? The guy came out and looked like Point Dexter. National.
It is the Guinness Book of World
Guinness
Records.
Book, that's it. And I don't know how well they know motorcycles or anything else. They weren't looking at serial numbers and stuff. You didn't have to put your serial number. You're supposed to show your ID card, but that didn't mean everybody could have a copy of the same ID card. They wouldn't know. And so I don't know. But I mean, you look at all this stuff. I just don't think there's that many American bikes, Harley bikes around the world. I could be wrong. We don't travel all over the United States. I mean, we're down in Mexico. We've gone to Mexico and we've been in Canada, and I don't see a lot of Harleys running around. I see a lot of other kinds of bikes, BSA and Hondas and Kawasaki's and things like that. In Mexico, you see pretty much they're all beat up. You can't tell what the hell they are. They're not Harleys.
Oh, geez.
You got a bunch yet? You're from way behind. We're never going to get off here tonight.
We'd have been off a long time ago. See, there's a lot of Sportsters right in Indonesia via a YouTube channel. 400 miles an hour. Is that your brother? I need to go. Twisted Times Motorsports. Thanks for speaking of what so many of us think, but have never had the platform to release the truth. We need this country back. Neil says, good night, all. HD scooters made in Indonesia for South Asia and Indian market. They're all saying good night. Pating for the night. Jeff says the beer. Twisted Times. Motorsports, absolutely. All right.
So with that, we're going to leave you tonight. Hopefully we didn't bore you all tonight or get too high on a high horse tonight. As somebody asked questions, we'll just try to answer the questions you were asking. And but I mean, yeah, we should just move on with life. There's so many more things that we should be more worried about than worrying about who's running Harley Davidson.
Jesus is coming back soon, and you better
look at this president race we got coming up. It's I don't know. We're not going to get political, but I mean, they both have issues, and you couldn't even put both of them together and make one decent person out of them. But I mean, it's just sad that it's happened like this for years. We haven't really had a good person run for politics because the same thing. Presidents really don't run the nation. They're kind of like that CEO up there. He's still got to deal with Congress and all these other people that's dealing on. And see, I'm back to what it should be. And they miss us all up. Go back to the Constitution. Where's all these rules supposed to be coming out of? The state. State's supposed to be in charge of all this stuff that's going on. The federal government's supposed to be overlooking what they do to make sure they stay within the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all that kind of stuff. Not come up with all these rules. It's just like the abortion. We're Christians and we don't believe in abortion. But to me, it's the states. If the state here in Arizona decides that they're putting it on the ballot, if they decide November, whatever the date is for the election, they decide in the state of Arizona that it's okay to have abortions at whatever year it is or whatever time it is, then that's the people talked. It shouldn't be the federal government coming in and making these mandates and overriding what everybody wants. I don't know. Did you let the people in that state decide what they want? And that's the way it should be. And people should vote. Everybody should vote. And you should speak your mind in the ballot book and say, no, I don't want it. Or yes, I do. And then that's the way you do it. And then that way the states, if you don't like that state, get the hell out of it. Like California, we left it. We didn't like the crap that was going on there. We didn't want to deal with any of that anymore. And we moved to Arizona. Really would love to just stay in South Dakota. But it is what it is. But
I don't like the snow.
Yeah. And the politics is a little bit better there. It's just not so much. And the sad thing about all this is everybody should just be able to talk. There's when I grew up, it was okay if you were black and if you were white. Two people could actually sit down and have a conversation, and it wasn't, just like a gay guy. We know some people, they're not our personal friends, but we know through other people that have gay relatives and stuff. And it's like we've talked to them and stuff. It's not like we're going to get a shot to stay away from them or put the cross up.
It's not like you can't talk to them or can't sit down and socialize with them just like anybody else.
We don't.
They just have a different lifestyle, and that's their right.
That's right. And everybody.
God gave us free will.
And everybody can make that decision because we're in America. And you don't have to like it. There's a lot of things I don't like, but it doesn't affect my daily life. So it's like, you know, if I've drank Bud Light over the years, and I had a Bud Light a while back. I'm not a big Bud Light guy, but I'm not a big beer drinker anyway. But I don't have a problem with what they did. Because it was more of a private thing. If this person didn't have this big giant Instagram account, nobody would ever know, because they've given thousands of those cans out to people. Bruce Jenner got one, even got one when he turned into a woman.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, got a can too, but nobody knows anything about it because he and she didn't put it up on the internet and show everybody. See, I always want to know who the straight dudes were that watched that channel to know about it. I had never heard of that person. I don't even know what their name is now. But whatever it is, because they were talking, somebody else talked about it on the channel the other day, on another channel, that you don't even know who that person is anymore. They had that big contract with Bud Light.
Yeah, they're 15 seconds of fame, and they're gone.
And and it was probably more that person that made all the money off of that than anybody else. Now Bud Light is actually closing up the factory where they make Bud Light. So hundreds of people have lost a job because of you. Are you proud of yourself? You made a point. Bud Light's not in the charts anymore.
Busch Light now.
Yeah.
Busch was always a good beer.
But I mean, that's what's also funny too, because Anheuser-Busch has all these products, Michelob Ultra and all this stuff, but nobody's bad-mouthing them. It's the same company. Anheuser-Busch is the same company that makes all those beers, but they only went after Bud Light. Funny, isn't it? But in turn, that's what we do. We hurt people, just like Harley Davidson. If people keep this up, Harley Davidson could go bankrupt. Would you be happy with that? Would that make you satisfied? That you ran them? That guy would. Oh, Robbie would say, "Look, they ran out of business. Yeah, 6,300 people lost their job. Plus, every dealership went out of business. Yeah, we did it. We did it. We showed them. Yeah. Why don't he take some of the damn money he's given and give to some of these people losing their jobs because of him?" Because he was tied in with that Bud Light thing too. So all these people are going to lose their jobs. Why don't he send some money to them? Because he did it. Just because of some stupid ass can. Are you proud of yourselves? We talked about that. They're big sponsors for motorcycle rallies. I wish they would leave motorcycles totally. Would never spend another dime. And I wish every freaking concert would be canceled because there wouldn't be any distributors, because all the people on motorcycles are all woke people. They don't want to call everybody out all the time. So why do we want to spend advertising money on you to pay for your concerts if you're not going to support us anymore? Let's have Harley Davidson not even show up next year to the rally. There's about $15,000, or maybe more than that, could be $100,000 that Harley's paying for that booth that they have. That's a lot of money for the city of Sturgis. They lost out $230,000 last year on their budget. They over budgeted. They're in the hole. So lose a few more big vendors like that, Sturgis might go bankrupt. Wouldn't have a rally at all, ever. Is that what you want? See, nobody ever thinks about the long run. How is this affecting? Who's losing on here? You know, we've just, here, Bud Light, we're going to lose all these fine employees. Some of them probably worked there 30 years making Bud Light beer. Now they're going to lose their jobs over a stupid can with some person's picture on it. They went woke. So maybe Harley Davidson will go out of business too. Good. Let's keep going at them. Robbie will be proud. Look what I done. Hope he's proud.
Another American company.
Yeah.
Do you like Arizona better?
Better than what?
I don't know. I like the warm weather.
Yeah. We get out in this, even though it's 100 degrees, I'm not hanging out in the shop working on bikes or anything like this in this kind of heat, but we're out.
That means a lot.
We're out driving around and we're checking out things, and we go out to eat and different things like this. So we're out in the heat, but I'm not going to be in here in the garage working. I'm not going to die out here. I've done my jobs working in hot weather and stuff, being a mechanic and stuff. At my point, I'm retired. I kind of do
better than CA, better than California.
Oh, well, California, what I liked about California is, one, it's a place you can ride year round. It's got some of the best riding in the United States because it's so big. You can ride in the desert, you can ride in the mountains, you can ride on the coast. It's just, everything's there. Other than that, that's about where it stops. That's the only part I miss. is that here we can't ride year round. I'm not getting out here at 110, 115 degrees riding my motorcycle around. I'm not interested. I'm not looking to die. I'm not looking to sweat to death. And sometimes in the wintertime, it's so freaking windy here. We get 60, 70 mile an hour winds. It's just not worth it to get out and fight with it. So we ride our bike more when we go to the rallies. There's a good possibility if we quit doing the rallies, we might quit riding bikes. Somebody asked me that today, wanted to know if I would buy, when I get to the point where I'm not stable riding my motorcycle anymore, would I buy a trike? And I just told him, no, I have no interest in buying a trike. Part of the riding a motorcycle is the fun of the motorcycle. A trike is not, I don't have that ride. To me, riding in her convertible or 2002 Mustang convertible is like riding on that trike. Same feel. I got the wind blowing in my face. Same feel. We both have tried trikes. We've rode a lot of different brands. We've rode Harleys since they started out. Just about every year we've rode one of the trikes, and I don't like any of them. It's for me. But I like a bike because I like to lean in the curves. I like to squeeze between cars, and when I'm splitting lanes in California and stuff like that. And I just don't to say that I'm still riding a bike to the rallies and all this. I want to ride a trike. I just don't have that interest.
Like I said, I've even noticed these last 4 years we've been doing this. Every year we go, I see more and more trikes and more trikes. This right now, I'd probably say probably not quite 50-50, but 40-60 bikes to trikes.
I don't think it's that high.
That's a lot.
There's a lot of trikes. It depends where you're at. Florida, you see a lot more trikes than you did in Sturgis. But it's just, it all depends. But I mean, that's just me. I'm not saying like this person I wrote and said, no, if I get, which I told him, I said, maybe I would switch to a lighter bike. Because I notice now I'm not as sharp on my bike as I was 20 years ago. And so I know I'm not a good as rider as I was previously. Not enough to cause somebody to have an accident or have an accident myself, but sometimes holding both of us up on the bike, my foot slides, or I'm just not as comfortable as I was, as I used to be. And so that's why I say, I don't know after next year.
Trikes are the Viagra of motorcycles.
I don't know if next year could be our last year doing this. I don't know. We'll see how this year, we'll see how 2025 goes, and we'll make a decision somewhere during the year.
Well, we're hoping the veteran bike build is going to take off, and then we'll do that.
And then maybe I'll even hire some people to help me do it. It's hard to say. We'll see how that all goes. But the idea was to have more content, and then we would pick and choose rallies we go to. We wouldn't go to all the rallies like we go to now, which we have. We've dumped some rallies. We only went to Laconia once. We only went to Galveston once. Lake of the Ozarks, I'd like to do that one again. But I mean, there's some, Daytona, which is actually, we'll see how next year goes. But I mean, the last couple of years, Daytona's kind of sucked for us. We don't get the views compared to.
We started early that year too, didn't we? This year we started putting out videos earlier.
Well, the difference in Daytona is it's the connections we have in Sturgis, we don't have anywhere else than we do here. And so Leesburg's not bad because we have a connection with the city, with the dealership, and with the campground. So I think that videos did really good. Myrtle Beach has done really good. I don't really know why, because I don't. Myrtle Beach is more of a party type thing. If you want to go and have fun, drink, see the bands and all that, that down there on Myrtle's Inlet is totally different than anywhere else. There's no place similar to that. Daytona is a little bit, when you get to the Iron Horse and Broken Spoke, you got the Beaver Bar, you got a couple of little things going in there. That's a little bit, but you got that major highway. That's just a lot of, trying to get across the streets.
Traffic and
congestion. It just doesn't get as easy to get to as like Myrtle's Inlet. You can just walk across the street anywhere in Myrtle's Inlet. They don't care. And you usually not get ran over. So I don't know. Barefoot Landing is going to be opening again, so that's kind of neat. I think that'll help Myrtle Beach a little bit better. But a lot of these, I think more people go to rallies to meet up with people, camaraderie. And it is. We probably have more fun now doing rallies than we did when we first started, because when we first came to Sturgis, we came out all by ourselves. We kind of just stayed by ourselves. We never really talked to anybody. We never really, did anything with anybody else. We rode by ourselves, and that was kind of the way we did it. And now it's different because we know so many of you. And we see so many of you at every rally. It doesn't really matter. There's going to be somebody there that knows who we are. So you got one, we have a common camaraderie where we all are motorcycle people. So you have something in common. You're at the event. So you know something brought you to that event. You know, most of you, we have no idea what you do for a living. Some of them, we don't even know where you live. You know, so it's just we know when you're there. And
he likes Thunder Beach because it's more of a beach rally.
Yeah.
Where Daytona Beach is on a beach, but you can't really get to the beach. Where
unless you're staying in a hotel.
Panama City, you can go like to Sharky's or Pineapple Willie's or any of those places and go right down to the beach.
Take a drink and all. And so I like Panama City. I'll be discouraged if we don't get to do Panama City this year. But it's all about the same thing. I don't want to spend money that we don't need to spend. And I'm not going to make that kind of money there to pay. Because that's why I said, when you look at this, the same thing. I looked today at a place to stay in.
We've been to as many as 13 in 1 year.
No, 18.
I thought it was 13.
It's 18.
I don't know. So right now we probably do about 10.
And so, but yeah, it's well, the problem with all of it to start with is we leave in February and we're gone until August. And that's just a long time to be away from home, be on the road, and a lot of expenses and things like that are going on. Put a lot of miles on the truck. I don't want to buy a new truck. Trailer's fine. We all don't need to really buy another trailer. But it's just wear and tear. It's a lot of expenses, gas, all this kind of stuff. Because as I say, sometimes when I was talking to riding the Ozarks, he figured by the time it cost for them to ride down to Daytona and all that, he could just buy airline tickets. And which sometimes it could be. Well, for us, it would have been. I just looked at Daytona the other day. For both of us to fly in to Orlando would cost us $888. It cost me $1,000 to get there and $1,000 to get home in gas. So yeah, it was cheaper, but then I got to get a motel room, which is the same thing. You know, you're looking at another $1,000 for a motel room for that during that whole. If you stay the whole week, well, that's why I say you see a lot more people that come to rallies and they do 3 days. And
I think right that's probably why.
I'm looking at Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. Typically, Friday and Saturday is sold out. Just about every hotel has got that sold out. You can come the first part of the rally, leave on Friday, and you've seen just about you'll see just about everything that's going on, but you won't have the biggest crowds. Will be Friday and Saturday. To me, part of going to Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue is to do some riding. For 2 days, you ain't gonna do much riding. You're there to party, and that's really all you're gonna do. But if that's what somebody wants, we've always gone just like we used to go to Laughlin all the time. We always got there the day before it started, and we left the day that it was over. And we stayed the whole rally, and for that whole time. And every rally we've ever gone to, we've always been at least there that time. And I would have never thought of just showing up for a Saturday.
And that's what we're thinking about doing our Wilmer. It says, question, can you fly and then rent a bike? So
we're looking. But see, the problem with renting bikes now, they're not cheap either. You go to Eagle Rider, you're close to $3,000 to rent a bike for a week. By the time you buy their insurance and you buy all the other stuff they have and all the stuff, and it's like, that's a lot of money. And I'm not going to do a biker barter type thing where they have, actually, when we went to Ocean City last year, the gentleman that helps us get them out there, he was going to rent us a bike, and he had one set up on that, but the guy never called him back. Probably had somebody else paid more money or something, I don't know, but ended up not getting it. Or
that's what he's always afraid of. If you do that, and let's say the person the week before rents it and totals it out, then when you get there the next week, sorry, the bike's totaled, or the car, whatever.
The other thing we're looking at, which we'll know a little bit more in November, February, January, which is kind of getting kind of late, but maybe we'd have my bike shipped out there. So we'd bring it to Leesburg, have it for Leesburg, Panama City, then ride it to Myrtle Beach, and then have my bike shipped from Myrtle Beach back home. That would maybe be an option. Then we'd be on the bike the whole time. We would travel to all those rallies on the bike. So that could possibly be an issue or something that we could do. But see, we're back to the same thing, which saves a little bit of money. You're not renting a car. Because a lot of times, that's what I say, these two rallies, we have to rent a car. We're coming into Baltimore Airport, and it's like a 2.5, 3 hour drive to get down to Ocean City. Well, I don't have a bike there. I'll have a bike when I get to Ocean City. Well, going to Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue last year, we went all the way to Springfield, Missouri Airport. We flew in there, and we drove all the way across. This time we're going to Tulsa, which is about I think it's an hour and a half or something ride, or maybe it's 2 hour ride. I don't know. But we don't get our bike till we get into Rogers to go to Pig Trail to get a bike from there. So we have to get there. So to fly into Fayetteville, the problem is I try to go with Southwest or American Airlines, and we're looking for the cheapest price. Southwest is good. We have Southwest credit cards, and you get priority boarding. I'm able to cancel it at any time, and a lot of things like that. So that helps out to where that's why I'm kind of thinking now maybe some of these rallies will go ahead and buy the airline tickets. I have to pay for them right now, but if it worst comes to worst, we can get a credit on it. It's like we changed one of the flights because we decided to go to our daughter's house after we get done in Tulsa. She's going to come pick us up. So we just transferred it to the Wichita airport, which ended up being cheaper yet. So like all those flights only cost me like $1,100 to do all those, fly into Baltimore. From Baltimore, we'll fly to Tulsa. From Tulsa, we'll drive to Wichita. From Wichita back to Vegas. So all that only cost $1,100 for all those flights. So which wasn't bad, but I booked them 3 months ago. So we would save some money, and because the farther out you book, the better off you are. Yep. So we're still trying to get a hold of a few people to finalize everything with. We got Ocean City pretty much all finalized, ready to go. But Bikes, Booze, and Barbie.
Amzo will let him.
What?
He's got an extra bike now, I guess.
I don't think you give me his new bike to ride. And his old one always sits there and idles. I don't think I don't know if he'll do it with his new bike. But I don't know. Somebody else had said that too. But we've got two people that we're talking to about supplying us with bikes. So we might have that. But see, which isn't too bad. But I couldn't afford to spend a lot of money on hotel rooms. Because that's why I said most hotels, you're looking at least $1,000 for the whole rally. That you stay at least $1,000, if not more. So you just got to kind of weigh all that out. Like right now, we're having a little trouble with Bikes, Booze, and Barbecue. The guy told us we're all set up, and we can't get a hold of him now because we need to know what day he's got us reserved at. So because last year we paid a night on our own, and then moved to where he had us set up at. So we just got to double check with him to find out what day, and we're having trouble to reach out. But they've had a lot of events have been going on down there in Eureka Springs this weekend too. So we don't know if that's.
I can't believe for all the work we do at these rallies, you can't come up with enough money for people to sponsor you. Even if you did $200 per business feature, knock out 10 to 15 features, which would you guys do anyway?
Yeah, it's kind of sad because, well, I'll have to be honest with you. Our sponsorship started at $1,000 for a year and goes up to $2,500. That's it for a year's worth of publicity for
videos.
Us. Yeah. So they're coming out smelling like a rose. But once again, we didn't get, right now, we've only gotten 3 of them to pay me so far. And so we're still waiting. No, I guess 4 because Camp Easy Ride was the first one that did it. And so a lot of them are taking the lowest price one, which is fine because we kind of sat down and figured out, hey, if we get this much money, $5,000 to $7,000, that should cover
all of the rallies we normally go to.
And so we thought Daytona. We thought we kind of had something kind of set up, and we do have something if worst comes to worst, but it's not our own place or anything like that. We'll be sharing it with somebody else, which isn't the end of the world. But Myrtle Beach, we thought we had our condo, and that all got screwed up because we went down and checked it all out and found out we could put our bike inside. It'd be underneath in the parking garage. They got a special area for bikes. Thought, this will be great. This will work out great. We're really close. It's right it's really good location. But that's all screwed up. We'll find out maybe tomorrow. She'll call again tomorrow and see if we can find out anything. But right now, it doesn't look good. Panama City, I have nothing. She's still got to do Leesburg. She hasn't called on that and got that. That's through our camping membership. We have one more cabin to rent in Orlando. So we'll be riding from Orlando over to Leesburg. So that's the only things we have. And, of course, we got Sturgis still because we're going to take the trailer still to Sturgis. And we may end up doing Arizona Bike Week. She's thinking about taking the trailer over there. And we've got a campground there that we should be able to get in. Hopefully it'd be late enough in the year, or hopefully we can get in there. Snowbirds will be gone. And we can get in there, and that won't cost us anything other than dragging the trailer over there and back. It's only 250 miles each way. So not too expensive. Not
but when it comes to money, that's what he said. I can't believe these businesses aren't rolling out the red carpet for you. But
and we've gotten, every now and then we've gotten people give us a couple $100 here or there. Not very often. But I mean, we've got, and we used to keep that as slush fund money, that if we needed an extra tank of gas or something like that, we would pay cash for it or something. But yeah, it's
They think Buc-ee's should be.
Yeah,
you would think
they should, but they won't. There's so many people doing YouTube videos on Buc-ee's that
they probably don't say,
yeah, they get why would we pay you when we already got all these other people doing it for free anyway? So yeah, we got 2 big ones we're looking at. And we're not going to say who they are, but we'll see how they turn out, if they turn into something. And Twisted Tea could turn into something. It's Billy stuck his neck out and got us to get an entry level in our plan to do Twisted Tea.
So Richard Rawlings owes us a couple.
I don't know if you give me, spent a lot of money on this place.
He
but
did.
But Twisted Tea, I'm hoping this year we'll do really good with Twisted Tea, and Twisted Tea may come back next year and say, hey, let's give them more. Let's put them on, So, yeah, it would be nice, but I mean, it's. But see, what's going to end up happening with these other vendors is we're going to start shying away from them. We're not going to spend the time going in all these other places anymore. We've got our sponsors that are going to sponsor us. They're willing to give us money for what we've done, and they've gotten years worth of advertising for free. And most of them gave us discounts on parts. They gave. When we first started this first couple of years, I paid for everything. I got maybe 10, 20, 30% off of some of the stuff that they did on my bike, but I paid cash because I wanted to, because I get this free phone. Of course, it's the best phone in the world. If I got to pay $1,200 for it, I don't know if it's that good. And so you're not getting a discount. So at least I'm spending money for it. So that's kind of why we wanted to do it that way. Now we have gotten my stereo on my bike, Rockford. They gave us that digital gauges. We got the gauges on the bike for that, and we talk about that a lot. And but they're great. They're great products. I would have spent $1,500 years ago for those digital gauges. I could not believe how great they are. But that's what it is. But I mean, I don't know and it's. I see these other people that's got sponsors that they're smaller channels than ours, but you don't know what they're getting. They could be, because some of these people, like Kathmandu, they don't give us any money, but they're sponsoring us for that whole month, 2 months that they're sponsoring us. So I told her, I said, well, we need to put them on as a sponsor too. Pig Trail Harley, they give us that bike to ride. Yep. That's worth $1,000 right there. Cat House has gotten us last year. They gave us a place to stay. They paid that. That cost him $1,500 or more for us to stay there. So that's a sponsor. But I mean, all these other campgrounds that give us free places to stay, that's not costing us anything either. But if there's no money exchanged, but they are kind of a sponsor. That's what I said. We've gotten to where we really don't pay for camping anymore. We've gotten to where they comp us during the rally. Now, sometimes one in Daytona, we're on a private property, but it's still getting us someplace on what we do. Now, he just does it because he was a nice guy. He just liked us and said, come on over to my house and stay with the trailer.
We had somebody offer us an electric bike, but then that was the end of it. We never heard any more. Never got.
Well, I wanted 2 if I got it. The same one Adam's driving around on. Adam's oil. He got one of them. I said, well, I think I wrote the guy and said, I'll take 2 for both of us. But never wrote back. We get that every once in a while. When she was Viking Bags was trying to get us bags, they wanted to buy the stupid one to put on the back of the bike, which I got 3 of them. If the only ones to buy one. And she wanted some for her Sportster, the yellow one. So she wrote them, and they were like, oh, we'll call you back. We'll call you back. Well, that guy somebody had wrote me a long time ago and told me, it's this bag or no bag. I said, well, then it's not no bag. It's no deal. I'm not giving you nothing. I'm not wasting my time and spending all my time to make you a couple stupid videos for something I don't even want. Plus, again, I don't know nothing about Viking. I don't know if that crap's any good or not. But, I mean, I'm not going to use that kind of bag. We got the one from Rick Rack, and I like that bag. That's great. I love that. It locks. It holds on there real good. 100%. No complaints at all. But, okay, you're all caught up?
Yes, and it's been 3 hours now.
Holy Jennifer Jupiters. I feel like a monkey. Yeah, we need to do some shots. Shot.
I need a bed.
Wah.
Are we done?
I guess you still got comments coming in.
Just Jeff. All my favorite tubers are selling me an electric bike. Wow, that's cool. I'm glad. I hope you get one. Is the twitching hour here? Thanks, Bob and Sam, for the chat, and good night. Great live, Jimmy O says. So thanks for hanging out with us today. We appreciate all you guys. We love all you guys. Love hanging out with you guys. Sorry, I'm so tired. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Share it with your family and friends. Give us a big thumbs up. ring that bell for notifications, and we'll see you on the next video.
Well, luckily, you all had a lot of things to talk about because actually we had nothing to talk about tonight. I didn't really have. I was going to talk a little bit about Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue and things like that. But other than that, I really didn't have anything. So it's kind of great that you guys kind of asked about some different things and asked about this and that and kind of gave us something here to talk about.
Kept him going.
Yeah, gave us some things to talk about. And we'll
bye, Jeff.
But,
love you too. Later. Good night. Good night, Mike. All righty. I'm hitting the button. Goodbye. Maybe.